Very good, Baba Booey.
Baba Booey.
You did fine.
Baba Booey.
A double Baba Booey.
Baba Booey. Baba Booey.
Baba Booey.
Baba Booey.
That's Baba Booey.
Did he ever get that
Baba
copyrighted?
Booey.
Did you copyright Bobby Booey?
I don't know if I could talk about it on the air. Baba Booey. Baba Booey. Baba Booey.
Baba Booey, I hear through the grapevine he's going out to copyright Baba Booey.
Baba Booey. Baba Booey.
So I say to him, they call me up and they say, well, how do you feel about this? I go, well, I don't know. I mean, it seems to me that this is a name he resisted.
Yeah, he didn't want this.
It's a name I gave him. If anyone should copyright it, it's me.
Baba Booey.
I believe I own the name.
Who called you, if I might ask?
It's none of your BI business.
Oh,
But
okay.
someone heard through the grapevine.
But they heard through the grapevine. The grapevine is this radio show. We said it on the radio show, and then later on, not too long after the show ended.
So what
day,
happened? Did you?
No, I was called in by upper management and told that it wasn't a good idea.
Oh, good.
Baba Booey. I had not known it until they had told me.
I caught Fred doing the same. You know, Frightening Fred Norris tried to copyright the word frightening.
Is that right?
Oh, I told him it's mine. What's the matter with you? I own the word frightening. So you get out of here. Although King of All Mars
Couldn't he
is
legally change his name, though?
yes, to Frightening
And
Fred
have
Norris?
that
Yes.
added, yes.
He could. But I believe I could sue him.
He hits a terrible shot there. No good at all, so he failed to even come close to getting it inside of Moore's.
And over at 16, Derek Ernst on the tee. Well, that's one way to play it.
Gary has something he must
No.
say.
I'll tell you, and then you can decide whether you want to talk about it now or on Monday.
What is
I
it?
have my new teeth installed.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Let's see. There is no difference.
Lie.
I'm so sorry.
I thought they were the temporaries he
did.
had.
I
on
really
the other
did.
You
day.
didn't even look.
And you've been
I
licking
did
them.
too.
Jackie, do you see a difference? Look at
And
that.
look at the
swear I
color
don't
of
see a
them.
difference.
Do you see a
My
difference?
wife sees a difference.
But
Well,
look
that's
at
all
The
that
guys from
counts.
the guys from E saw a difference.
Did anybody walk up to you and say, hey, you got new teeth?
No, but they shouldn't. It shouldn't happen that way. It shouldn't be.
Yeah, but you had on such bad teeth yesterday. It should.
Are they supposed to be a different color or smaller? Or?
They're supposed to be a little smaller and a little lighter.
No, there's still as prominent. You still have as much trouble getting your lip over
Well,
them.
it takes a little while.
And the color is ghastly.
And it not only is it it is so perfect, the color, that it's sickening.
so perfect.
Yeah, it's like a perfectly dulled color.
Yeah.
And you
Well,
keep,
matches the rest of the teeth now.
and you keep wetting and constantly. These ones are dry too. I can see.
Well, yeah, these are going to take a little while.
Yeah. What is that? Like sea green? Is that the color?
Sea green.
It's like an off green.
Right.
It's a
not-
gray. It's a gray.
It's a gray.
It
That's
originally was a
great.
yellow. Now it's.
Why would they give you gray teeth?
Because that's what the color of the rest of them are. You
Well,
try to
maybe
match
change
them.
the rest of them.
Yeah, can't they do something about them?
They are laminated.
But bleach them.
Kill yourself.
Declare your mouth.
Well, I'm happy with it.
Can't they change the color of your gums?
There's nothing wrong with the gums. There's not.
And whenever Gary turns his head to show you
Yeah.
his teeth, he smiles like this, and it's
Like
the funniest.
he has to open his mouth to show the
Well,
Yeah,
You
and it's the
do.
funniest side view. Do it again. Yeah. You gotta see, but do it from the side for Robin.
No, turn to Howard.
Yeah, all the gums. I don't know what's
There's-
going
I never figured out.
You
how-
know what? When he does that, he looks more like those drawings of him than ever.
I know.
You know what make his teeth so much different than anybody else's is they're so thick.
Yeah, they're huge.
They're as thick from back to front as most people's are from
They're
side
as
to
thick as gravestones,
tombstone.
tombstones.
Well, that was important.
Hey, good man. I'm glad.
Okay.
I'm glad for you. As long as you're happy and your wife's happy, who cares what anyone
We're
else thinks?
stupid enough to
Do
think they
you
look good.
feel that they're smaller? Does it feel like you
I
have
can-
less in your mouth?
Right now, it feels like a lot because I'm still getting used to it.
Are they heavy?
At this exact moment, a little.
Yeah, it almost looks like.
Because that's a lot of material.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about like a pound of
But
material. in
there's
there.
a lot going on in the last 2 weeks. You know what I mean? There's a lot of teeth being pulled out and put in and stuff, and it just takes a couple days to get used to them.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in that mouth.
It's like a community.
That head is always. It's like a condo.
Can we get a before and after shot?
Yeah, we actually have it. I know the guys from E have
Yeah,
the before
maybe
and
we
after
can
shot.
do
You'll see a
that and you'll
difference.
see a difference.
You know what you do? Just even like right now, just smile and they'll freeze it, and then we can show a comparison from yesterday.
But he should show it to you and not tell you which is which and see if you see it.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I think the E guys can get a photo printout, and I'll show them to you tomorrow.
All right.
Or Monday. Maybe they can do it over the weekend.
All right.
And I'll give you the photo A and photo B, and you'll tell me which is which.
Hey, I hope I see a difference.
Are you happy?
I'm happy. I am
I mean,
happy.
I'm not happy, but it doesn't matter.
You wouldn't be happy if they were great.
Right.
My teeth don't have anything to do with your happiness.
Maybe the dentist left some tools in your mouth. Let me see, because it's awfully crowded in there. I don't know what it is.
One of those
That happens.
I know.
Remember, ever read about operations that leave the sponges and everything in?
I know for a fact I have 32 teeth.
Is that
They
right?
might be big, but there are 32 of them.
How many
Wow.
on the bottom?
Not 88 like Jackie says.
And the lips are constantly fighting to get over
It's
them.
dry. I'm very dry right now. And I tell you, when you stare at me, the water just
You know what?
sucks out of my mouth.
And you know what else happens? Like the upper lip gets caught on the teeth, so it only goes down halfway, and then like it gets stuck.
Stuck, yeah.
And then he has to like push.
All right, let me get all licked up, and then I'll put
Gee
them normal.
whiz, I'm so sorry for you. I really am.
Who are you more sorry for, me or the woman that was just here in the wheelchair?
The woman in the wheelchair.
Okay, so it's not that
All right,
bad.
there you go.
I feel
But
better.
you know, looking at the teeth, it is true. They should have put a couple of black keys in.
Yeah. You can play those things.
Well, Robin, you're sitting so far away you can't even see. It's so not fair. But then when was the show ever?
And it looks like he has like 2 sunburned salamis for lips.
that I'll give you.
Yeah. 2 giant salamis crossing over those big white gravestones.
Like 2 full hammocks.
They're like 2 giant salamis to me. Fred, don't they look like salamis?
Yeah, you saw him hanging in a shop window yesterday.
With a little string.
Just pick, if you want to play along at home, just take 2 salamis
And a tombstone.
and just take like some big white rocks
Or chiclets.
or chiclets and stick them between each other, and you have Gary's teeth. And then there's this other weird vibe going on. Like everyone on the show,
No, you know what? You don't even have to bring this up.
I'm going to bring it up.
No, don't. Because now
Well, there's
I'm
this
embarrassed.
whole weird thing going on.
What?
Well, I want to say it.
You don't
Let
have
me-
to. I would rather you didn't. I just don't want you to do. I would never put you in a position to do anything you don't want to do.
Well, you know, everybody wants to make money off the show, and I can dig that. But one of my pet peeves about guys who become famous is they start merchandising everything. Like Seinfeld has Seinfeld cups and Seinfeld
Right.
this. And I've always tried in some bizarre way, and maybe some people think this is false, but I've always tried to keep whatever I sold to a certain minimum and sort of make it show business related, like a videotape or a book or something of substance. I never put out a T-shirt or a mug or And Jackie does a lot of that stuff, but he that's part of his deal with the station.
But he was always doing it, too.
Yeah, and he was always doing it,
that's how I
and
met you.
that's sort of his thing.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, that's part of the way he gets paid. And I think that's a cool way to get paid. I don't say there's anything wrong with it. It's just that I know Stuttering John is desperately trying to get something going. So, even with his album, that was cool. I thought that was kind of show business, and it was just uniquely Stuttering John. But
Right.
then now he's like, now all these TV shows are trying to sign him, so I'll talk about it. And then Gary just came up with the latest thing. He's got some marketing deal with a Baba Booey T-shirt.
But now, Howard, you realize that.
And I know there's, and he's wearing
I
it
came
now.
to you, right?
And he's wearing, no, I know you came to, I don't have any problem with you making a T-shirt, but I said to him, and I was upfront about it, I said, Gary, you can talk to Tom about this and everything, but if those guys don't want me to talk about it on the air, I just can't. And quite frankly, I understand. That's, Jackie works hard and gets paid that way. If you want to get paid that way, that's one thing. So, and also, I don't really want to merchandise Baba Booey T-shirts because I could have done that. So I'm not like real into it.
Yeah, I
don't really want to be
know how this
hawking.
came about.
Yeah, I don't want to be hawking a Baba Booey T-shirt or this T-shirt or and I don't want that, but I also don't want to stand in your way making money. So go ahead and when you do your appearances, you can sell them. And
Right.
so he has his Baba Booey T-shirt, and I know it's a lot of. I'm sure the guys who made these T-shirts are somehow giving you some kind of pressure about it. Tell the truth.
No,
Tell the truth.
It's actually worse than that.
It is.
Yeah, it's
Well, what's
we're
that
the
mean?
ones who. I'm the one who. This is all my thing.
Oh, you financed it.
Yeah,
Oh man,
Gary.
I didn't know that.
yeah.
And the teeth.
Shut up.
You financed it?
Yes. Yeah. It wasn't a great startup cost.
I thought that some guy approached you about it.
No, because the problem with that is that you always end up getting gypped.
Right.
Because you're trusting some other guy to.
And
tell
you designed that?
In a way.
In a way.
Who
What
did,
does
your
that
wife?
mean?
No, we actually had some guy draw a picture.
Oh, man.
Come on.
Oh, hey, come on, man.
You know, hey, it's cool. Listen, be honest. That's what you do.
Baba Booey, this is true. This is typical Gary. He decided to jip himself.
Right. Yeah. I don't want to share nothing with anybody. Now that I'm making zero, I don't have to share with anyone.
But you know, I mean, you've been down that road before,
Yeah.
even with like.
But how do you plan to mark? I mean,
We've been advertising. We had
All right.
an ad on the back page of the Village Voice.
all right.
And in some of the other markets, I've been able to, run commercials.
Were there any T-shirts that you rejected before you went with this one?
Yes, there was.
Are there really?
Oh, you should show us the designs that didn't make it.
Or did you just go with the first thing?
No. You should. There was a whole thing. I showed a bunch to Jackie and John, and they hated them all.
Look at that design, Robin. Suddenly, Tom's bumper stickers look like artwork. Oh, all right, so you put up the money for it. All right, so I don't know. You want
Now you look at that shirt, you're thinking about Baby Jackson's education.
That's okay. He's
Yeah, I
gonna
know.
be-
It's just kind of a weird
He's going to be
thing.
educated fine whether this T-shirt does well or not, Robin.
And it's just sort of a weird thing because I know Gary. Gary wears it in here every day, so
Yeah,
everyone will see it on the
yeah.
E show. And
And
I don't-
didn't we
so-
tell him
I
the
don't-
dress code was no T-shirts?
No, hold on
Yeah.
a second. Hold on a second.
and the belly
Hey,
hanging over the
This
shirt.
is- that I can't help you with. This is only the second time I've worn it, and there's lots of times without ties. I have this convoluted thing, but if I wear a T-shirt of any kind, I usually wear a sports coat. I'm just not wearing it right now. And then the days I don't wear a sports coat, I wear a shirt and a tie.
So he gets it on the E show. It's just like even Jackie has grown up somewhat and not worn his 922 wine shirts.
Right, he stopped
not
doing
more than
that.
2 months ago, when Jackie was finally on the E show, he turned his sweatshirt around so that you could read the phone number.
Oh, really?
You remember
Oh,
that?
I didn't
There was a
realize.
what
I
was
thought maybe
happening-
you would have.
Something weird was happening that day, though. There was a reason for
Yeah,
that.
and Jackie wanted to get more advertising.
Right.
No.
Something weird was happening.
You turned your sweatshirt around. You went out to the
No, I know that, but the
something big. We had a press conference of some
Oh,
sort.
all right. Well, I take it back. Jackie has
Has
it.
it.
Jackie went to the bathroom, and when Jackie came back,
I did it
the
right
phone
here.
number
What are you
was in
talking
front.
Oh, you caught him.
We talked about it on the air.
I did it right here.
No, you
Took
didn't.
off it was a sweatshirt. I took it off and switched it right here. So right here. Oh,
Wow. And then what's on the back of the shirt?
The phone number.
So you're walking around with a phone number on your shirt?
It wasn't my
I mean,
idea.
if I call up and get a shirt, I have to walk around and advertise the phone number where I got the shirt.
Only a special few have the phone number on the back.
Oh, you're
Although
kidding.
Tom suggested to me, Tom said, I've been in this business a long time, and I know.
Uh-oh. Tom Chiasano
Yeah,
said
he
this.
said, put the phone number on the back.
Oh, he's a brilliant guy.
But it costs an extra 50 cents a shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, so there's nothing on the back of most
But Tom
shirts.
said, if you sell a couple of extra off the shirt. But I was thinking, like, why
Tom
would
is amazing.
Why
guy.
would anybody want the phone number?
Yeah, why would you want a shirt
But
that
he's
had
trying
a
to
phone
help.
number?
He was trying to
He's
help.
trying to help. Yeah.
He was
His
giving
help
me,
is incredible.
He was giving me his expertise.
Imagine the station has to pay him for these ideas.
jeez.
So where is the phone set up with the 1-800 number?
It's a 212 number. When you call, you get me.
Oh.
Oh, we got to call.
Does Mary get to answer the phones when you're not around?
No, it's nothing like that. They're not in my parents' attic or anything.
Oh.
You didn't bring the rest of the family into the business?
No. It was too cruel.
Because Jackie's got his grandmother answering the phone.
Got nothing to do.
You know, he keeps saying it wasn't his idea. Everything's not his idea.
Well, I have
but it is.
management.
Yeah, it isn't his idea.
In fact, the guys came to me and they said, we got this phone number with 6969 in it. I said, you know what? I think that's really stupid. That wasn't the way I wanted to advertise it.
Yeah, someone might remember that.
It just made it sound
Gary-
more foolish
Yeah.
than it
Gary
was.
prefers
New York
jumbled
is,
numbers.
New York is easily remembered.
Very good.
Right, very good. Yeah.
Has nothing to do with
Let
the
me ask you
shirt.
something. I grew up in New York. I can barely remember it, but I remember 69.
You know what?
I had it once.
It also has nothing to do with the shirt, New York. So,
Well, neither does 69.
but at least you remember 69.
69 is a number. All right, listen, who cares?
Okay.
So everyone's got like little enterprises going and stuff, and everyone's trying to sort of get something going, but sometimes it sort of interferes with my concept
Yeah.
of the show. You know, I just don't want to be out there with 97 products. And this is how, this is how it
You know
happens.
what has happened? Everyone has turned into Hank.
Yeah, right. Everyone's like a little Hank.
Would you come to the opening of my restaurant?
Yeah, right. And it's just like weird.
We got 10,000 Hanks on
Yeah,
the show.
they got to figure out a way to have side business. It's like Ed McMahon had side businesses.
Right.
I really, you know what? I really do sometimes watch that show and feel like Hank because he's always going to like monster truck shows and,
Right. You are Hank.
he's going to Phoenix to do like the refrigerator convention.
Congratulations on your shirt and on all your projects.
Booey 25 presents What Does Baba Booey Mean to Me?
Baba Booey to me, well, it means a lot of things. You know, the easy answer is it means, when somebody screws up, or, it's simply Gary's name. Well, really what it represents is I told you so. When Gary turned to me and said, you're making fun of me now and calling me Baba Booey, but this will last a day. And so Baba Booey means to me perseverance, a joke that goes on way longer than anybody could imagine. This is a great triumph, the name Baba Booey.
This is Booey 25 on Howard 101. See how one monkey misstep changed pop culture history.
The governor's call was gracious.
Romney's going to be the winner.
At the RNC convention, and that may have a lot to do with having to reorganize the whole idea of
ask not what your country can do for you.
This is Booey 25, celebrating the 25th anniversary of the name that became a movement.
Baba Booey.
Baba Booey.
Baba Booey.
Baba Booey. Baba Booey. Baba Booey.
And Baba Booey to go. All weekend long on Howard 101.
Romney's going to be the winner.
Okay, let's move it around here. We got a Romney person here too.
I think Obama's math just doesn't add up.
Okay, great.
Obama's going to be now.
Obama.
After they have get that my best with my best to Mr. Obama.
Okay, Romney.
Baba Booey.
Thoughts? Just Romney.
Obama all the way, 100% support.
Now, Fafa Foley just said to me, hey, boss, I want to make sure I'm doing things right. And by the way, you are. He came to me and he said, I've glommed something. I want to make sure it's okay with you. I said, what did you get this time? He says, well, I got screening tickets to Jurassic Park, to go see a screening of Jurassic Park. I said, oh, you mean for all of us? He goes, no, like a regular screening, a nighttime screening. Is it okay? Did I go? And I go, yeah. I said, but what about the other people on the show who want to go? You only got tickets for yourself?
That's true. I did. I didn't know.
But let me ask you something. Why wouldn't you want Robin to see Jurassic Park before you as the producer of the show? I don't know that Robin's available to go. I'm just saying, why wouldn't you say to her, hey... See, the problem is you come to me and you say, boss, is it okay if I go to a screening of Jurassic Park? No, but that puts me in an awkward position. If you can only get 2 passes to it...
Right.
I believe Robin, quite frankly, or Fred or Jackie or me before you should go see it.
Okay, who would like to go?
How many tickets do you have?
2.
All right, so immediately you glom them for yourself.
Well,
it does me no good if you see Jurassic Park.
Well, that's not entirely true.
What do you mean?
I mean, I have done movie reviews in the past.
Yeah, you come in and you go, hey, it was a great movie, Cliffhanger, boss.
Well, it was.
Yeah, but I mean, I could have read that in the newspaper.
I saw Dave reviewed that.
Yeah, right. Hey, it was a great movie, boss? Dave.
What did he come in and he said to Ivan Reitman? It's been done before, but you do it very cleverly.
Yeah. Plus, of course, the day after a screening, he'll be drowsier than ever.
Yeah.
Or should I say more drowsy than he usually is.
It's an early screening. Robin and I are going to a screening next Monday together for the show.
What screening is that?
The Arnold Schwarzenegger screening.
Last Action Hero.
Yes.
Now, why wasn't I informed of that?
I hadn't had a chance to talk to you about it. They're not making a special screening for us.
No, I know that, but why wasn't I informed of it? I told you I want a list of everything that you're going to.
Well, I'm telling you now. I was going to tell you after the show today.
When are you going to that?
That would be, I think, next Monday.
Uh-huh. Well, maybe I want to make plans to be there.
I was going to let you know after the show today.
I might take your 2 tickets. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take
you
his
can
2
have
tickets.
my tickets.
Yeah.
You don't understand. I'm going for the show. They need somebody from the show to see. You can have my tickets.
Okay, good. I might take them.
Have a party.
I might take them.
6 o'clock at night. You're a madman.
I might go.
You might.
That's right. Or I might
but
not.
that's okay.
That's right. Although Jurassic Park you really should see because you have dinosaur-sized teeth. So that would fit in perfect. Because at Jurassic Park, they'll think he's like one of the exhibits.
Yeah, they may have the actors climb down off the screen.
Yeah, a brontotoothus.
Visit Gary.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. Tyrannosaurus Booey.
I was, I know you're always goofing at me, goofing on me that I'm looking, through that Prodigy and stuff, but I'm looking through it this weekend and they're talking about you. And I see all of a sudden I'm on a subject and I punch it up and it's like, boy, does that Baba Booey, is he an idiot? Does he have big giant teeth and that dopey animation? I'm looking at this, I'm like, I'm paying to be made fun of.
That's right. I'm paying here.
Floppa-flowly.
It's even worse. It's signed Mary Dell'Abate. So, well, let's see what's going on this Prodigy that I subscribe to. Let's see.
I'm online.
I'm online. Mary, how come I'm not getting anything on the screen? Oh, I have to turn it on? All right. Let's see. Booey. That's me. Let's see what it says. I'll punch this button.
Booey.
So far, I only owe $800 to Prodigy for all the phone calls I'm making.
Flunky.
I got my phone bill, by the way.
Yeah?
And it didn't change whatsoever.
Really? Good.
Because a local call.
Okay. I was worried about you. Maybe I shouldn't look at stuff about myself. It ruins my on-air performance. Maybe I should just play rotisserie baseball. All right, thank you. Do you play the games and stuff on Prodigy?
Some of them.
Yeah? I picture Baba Booey doing real important work on that computer all weekend. Looking up his name under where people write.
Right.
And then just sort of playing games.
Switching over to the game.
I have to go right over to Quote Check, where I check the performance of my stocks.
Oh, I see.
Oh, dear.
Both, I've learned the alphabet from Prodigy. You can't even type, can you?
No.
You do one-finger typing?
Yeah.
Great.
The hunt and peck method.
Why wouldn't you learn, especially if you want to get ahead and stuff, why wouldn't you learn how to type?
I don't think Gary ever really had a plan.
Yeah, I mean, instead of sitting and typing into Prodigy and trying to learn about himself and read what other listeners are writing, why wouldn't you take a typing course and in 6 weeks learn how to type?
Or any kind of course.
Yeah,
learn something.
I mean, learn something. I know how to do something. I know how to produce a show. I know how to book guests.
One finger on the keys, one in his nose, and he's happy. He's working that Prodigy.
Yeah, typing would really mess him up.
Yeah.
You need both hands.
You have to put his foot in his nose.
I tried to take a typing course after I graduated college.
Yeah.
One of those adult ed courses.
Yeah.
I left after the first night.
Why? It's so easy.
It isn't that easy.
Yeah, sure it is. 6 weeks you know how to type.
Be discouraged in one night.
It was discouraging.
ASDFJKL semi. Just keep practicing it. That's it.
How could he be discouraged after one night? They don't even do anything but hand you a book.
If I got a computer, the first thing I would learn is how to type because that makes it fun.
Yeah.
The fact that you can really whiz around on it, it makes no sense to have a computer and not be able to know how to type. Sit there with one finger. It's like saying, gee, I need a computer so I can get my work done quickly and then sit there with one finger.
Didn't they have typing in his high school?
Yeah, but no.
Yeah, of course he wouldn't take it.
The guys didn't take typing in high school.
His father didn't know how to raise him. My father turned to me and just said, you know what, son? You're never going to remember any of this crap from high school. One thing you should learn how to do is type. I've always found it useful. You could even get a job knowing how to type.
Sure.
So Gary, of course, wasted more time in high school.
Anybody who couldn't learn typing, my God.
Yeah. Fred, you know how to type, don't you?
Sort of.
Do you? Do you do one finger or do you know how to type?
I use 4 fingers.
Yeah, I mean, I can type pretty fast for someone who never took a typing course. I bet you I could type 35 words a minute.
I bet you can't.
Bet you I can.
Okay.
He didn't count all the errors. There's not actual words. He could just.
Oh, you mean with no errors or with tons of errors?
No, with maybe one error.
Really?
2 errors. 35 words, 2 errors in a minute.
Okay, I'll take that bet.
You.
I'll take a bet on that.
How much?
I'll go 100 with you.
I don't have any more on me.
Yeah, you better not bet. I'm like the Michael Jordan of radio. Yeah, I'll bet you. Here's 100.
Anything that happens. Want to bet?
Yeah, want to bet? I'll bet on that you can't type 35 words a minute. What do you use? 2 hands or 1?
No, I use 2 hands.
Yeah? 2 fingers or 10 fingers and 2 teeth? All right, very good. What do you use, 2 fingers?
I'm not going to answer any more questions.
Are there boogers on every key on that computer?
No. No.
What are these green keys, Gary?
Yeah, well, there's a booger on G.
Wait a second now. One time, I got caught.
Oh, you're always picking your nose.
I've seen you a couple of times. I mean, you sort of, go to the corner. But
Gary, I don't do it on TV. That's called a nose-picking addiction.
I didn't do it on TV
very
either.
Good. Okay, I know you didn't. That's why we all saw it.
No, it's not like I got in front of the camera and said, now I will pick my nose.
Gary, you were in front of 1,000 people picking your nose.
You were right on the street.
I was in the crowd behind.
Oh.
You guys had to get a computer and make it larger so you could see my face.
Uh-oh, it's a period. The booger made it look like a semicolon. Mary, my cursor is snot laden. I need your help.
Foley.
All right, very good, Fafa Foley.
Sorry.
And by the way, when you do me a favor, when you get 2 tickets to see Jurassic Park,
Well, I just got them.
give me a memo on that, and I'll see who's available to go. And if no one's available to go, then you'll get to go.
Okay.
When a screening comes up.
Papa
Right.
Poha.
No, seriously, it would do me a lot of good if you went to Jurassic Park, Robin. Not that I don't know that you can. It's not mandatory, but if there are tickets involved, maybe I'd rather have you there than Fafa Foley. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
Or even for that matter, believe it or not, Jackie or Fred.
Right, because they
actually
might,
write stuff.
parody it or something.
But Fafa Fooey goes, and then he goes, "Hey, boss, I saw Jurassic Park. It is really good." That just doesn't do me a lot of good.
All right. Would you like me to come back with a more detailed review to prove myself?
No, I just would like you to come in and tell me when my tickets are available so that I can dole them out to people on the show. And quite frankly, just because you answer my phone doesn't mean they're calling you directly to take you to the screening. It's just that you're the person who deals on the phone. Those tickets are mine.
That's why I told you about it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is don't position it like, boss, I have 2 tickets. I'm going to Jurassic Park. Is that okay?
No, I said, can I go?
No.
May I go? There are 2 tickets.
This is what you do from now on.
May I go?
Can I tell you again what you're supposed to do?
But I said there are 2
With
tickets.
your very fast computer skills,
Yes.
you type me a memo that says, as of such and such a date, there are 2 tickets available to Jurassic Park. I am one of the people who's available to go. Can you please get back to me on it?
Okay.
And then I will ask Robin, Fred, Jackie, Stuttering John, and Gorillo if they're available. And if they're not, you can go.
Why do I get last placement on the list?
No. You're after Fred.
Who's before Fred?
Robin and Jackie. Because Jackie might actually write something that I'd see. Robin might talk about it on the air, and then Fred might write something. Even though I won't see it, at least it'll be written. All right?
Understood.
Okay, very good. And then you.
I'm learning.
Okay. And then I might even put Stuttering John ahead of you because he might want to go and do interviews.
Oh.
Okay?
Well, there won't be anybody there to interview.
I'll be the judge of that.
Well,
okay?
I can tell you. I mean, you would ask me.
I might want to interview the audience at the end of the show.
I see.
Which is something you're too important to do. Okay? Thank you. I might want to just start doing a movie screening, Paul. I get ideas off of this stuff. Okay? So really, seriously, that's now the way it's done.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
And he's all hurt. He's like,
no, there's no arguments.
This is so unfair because I got the phone call. And it's for me.
No, it didn't go anything like that.
And nobody else wants to go. Yeah, well, nobody wants to go because nobody knows about it. Right, Robin?
Right, Howard.
Do you ever get told about these things?
No.
I mean, he keeps it a secret.
I have no idea.
I called his house the other night, and his wife says to me, "Oh, Gary's at a movie screening." I'm like, "Oh, gee, why don't I know about this?"
Yeah, what screening was that?
I don't even remember what it was. What was the night I called you? What were you seeing?
There's so many in the last few weeks.
I know.
He's been going to a lot.
He saw like 8 movies in the last 2 weeks.
Sleepless in Seattle, I saw.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Hey, boss, that was a really good movie.
Yeah, but it's not funny, Gary, because I really want to know about these screenings. I mean, I feel like these are calls that are coming into me that I'm not receiving the messages
Right,
on.
but I already got yelled at about that. Let's not bring it up again. You told me what to do. I did it.
Yeah, but you did it wrong today. You came in and said, "Hey, boss, I want to go to see
Right,
Jurassic Park."
and then you just yelled at me about that, so now I got that right.
All right.
Let's
Seriously,
not beat it.
what happened? And you weren't supposed to confront me verbally about tickets. You're supposed to just hand me a memo.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. You got typing skills. You could do 35 words a minute. So now there's no excuse. And you got a computer in your house. You can even type me the memo from your house. That'll give you something to do on that computer instead of playing games. All right, very good. Fafa Foley, thank you. You go out and produce now. All right, that's my producer, Fafa Foley. There we go. He's now typing me a memo. Dear both, I've received tickets to Jurassic Park.
Screening season is over.
Screening season. He's a character, you know. It's like none of us exist on this show, and he thinks those phone calls coming in are for him. He really does. He really thinks those are his phone calls and his tickets.
Well, he looks at it as his social calendar.
Right.
As opposed to, work for the show.
Yeah. And then he'll always tell you he doesn't get paid a lot of money. He gets paid more than enough money.
Yeah, all that free recreation.
Yeah. Believe me. There's plenty of dough where he comes from. I mean, gee whiz. With the tickets. Mr. Tickets. And I see members of his family go to stuff. And I mean, he's constantly tickets and he's ticket brokering.
Yeah, he's at games, he's at screenings,
and
he's at concerts.
And these are things that come in because of me. Well, what do you think? The New York Knicks are calling him because of him? You think that if I fired him tomorrow, the New York Knicks lady would be calling him?
They'd still let him in.
Hi, Gary. I thought I'd call you at your house. I want to make sure we maintain our relationship. Now that you're
a couple of tickets to the playoffs.
Now that you're a garbage man, those are my tickets, and I would like to reward people on this show who work hard with some seats every once in a while. You know what I'm saying?
Well, unfortunately, they can't get past Gary.
No, I mean, it's like he hoards, and also he purposely doesn't tell people. So I want a list of everything, and if I can't get that list, I'll just have Kathy, my assistant.
How's she gonna bypass Gary?
She's going to take all phone calls. Gary won't be allowed to answer the phone. Gary, repeat after me. I will report all screenings, gifts and glommings. I will learn to type instead of reading Newsday every morning. I will write my calendar on my teeth so Voff can see it clearly. I am an expert at doing the wrong thing. All right, very good.
Papa Flunky.
You know what?
What?
I bet he's going to start repeating again.
Yeah.
So much worse.
Hey, Fred, that's a pretty good impression.
Great.
Yeah. What are you doing this?
I have to use a device.
What do you use, a
I
pen?
take a Sharpie and I stick my cheek out.
It's very good.
And then you like bilateral on the other side of the mouth. It's complicated, but it works.
Very good. Because it sounded like you were going to throw up.
Well, it got awfully wet. I thought he was going to drown.
Gary has those mornings every once in a while. It's like
say the rain in Spain falls mainly on the plane.
The rain in Spain falls mainly on the plane.
No, I resent that Robin, who is important to me, and you guys who are important to me, that you guys don't get invited to any of these screenings. And Gary thinks because they don't know your name.
Oh, I get invited if somebody asks me,
And
but
by the
nothing
way,
comes through this office.
The people who are calling for us. They're not calling for Gary.
Papa Bohai.
They just assume now that Gary's the only one who wants to go. And
well, that's what they assume because they issue the invitations and Gary's the only one who shows up.
Right. He ambushes the tickets because he answers the phone. It's like saying you hire a receptionist, right? Which Gary is my receptionist.
Yes.
And she's running a big corporation, and the receptionist starts doing business with everybody.
Well, it's very funny because, when concerts come around, I'll always, I'll hear Gary, sort of whispering, I'm going to the Prince concert. I'm like, oh, I didn't know Prince was coming to town. But he doesn't inform us,
No.
He really should say, hey, this is what's coming up this month. Anybody want to go? Let me see if I can get tickets.
But he tells us afterwards.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He finds the information for himself, negotiates himself some tickets, and then after it's all over and it's a week before the concert,
because you hear
talks about
Gary's going to a special 100 person Prince concert or something, and you go, well, how are you doing that? Well, they called boss about a month ago and I got my tickets.
Well, that's actually a really bad example, not on your part, but on Robin's part, because everybody gets a concert calendar every month in their mailbox that Robin, I'm sure you throw away.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't even know about it.
Everybody does get a calendar of events for the whole. In fact, you got a list of every concert at Jones Beach for the summer, as a for instance. Did you read it or throw it away?
Yeah, and what should she do with that list?
She should look at it and say, Gary, I would like to go to this show, and this show.
Yeah, but why do you go? I would like to go to this show, and this show.
No, you just said.
No, I'm saying, but why do you go? What makes you feel that you should be abusing this privilege?
I'm not. I mean, everybody pays for tickets. The station.
I see. These are not free.
The station gives everyone at the station an opportunity to buy tickets in advance if there's a show you're interested in.
I see. Hey, Boff, great Beatles reunion last night. You were invited to. Gary knows full well what I'm talking about.
I'm going to see Paul McCartney Unplugged. You want to go?
Yeah. Yeah. But wait a second, boss. MTV called me personally. They're my friends. Oh, they are? Gee, would they be your friends if you were a garbage man? No, but
but I'm not a garbage man.
But I'm not. I'm your receptionist. No, from now on, I want a list of everything you're
I know
offering.
We talked about this.
Yeah,
already.
but I've yet to receive one list.
Well, this is the first time it came up.
No. Since I told you, you've already been invited to 2 or 3 things, and now
I haven't. This is the first thing I've been invited.
You were invited to Jurassic Park,
right?
And you were invited to another movie screening.
No, I haven't been.
You're going with Robin.
Right, I was going to talk to you about that today.
No, I don't want you talking to me about it. I keep telling you that.
All
I
right.
want you to make a list.
I got you.
All right, there you go. He's stupid. He's thick. He's thick. I tell you 900 times. I'm telling you the same thing over and over again. Make me a list. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Hello, this is Morgan Freeman, and you're listening to Booey 25, only on Howard 101. He's a douchebag.
Hey, I got you a birthday gift. Hey, Gary, bring in my birthday gift for Robin. It's underneath the desk.
Oh, you didn't have to do that. And forget about my birthday, please.
How old are you, 40?
Oh, please.
No, really, are you?
No, this is the last year that I can say, oh, please.
Oh, please. Yeah. Oh, please, like it's that outrageous. You're 39, right?
Yeah.
Not a big deal. You want to live
It
forever?
is a big deal. Yeah, I do. I don't know what's on the other side.
You want to get up at 4 in the morning forever?
It seems that that.
Well, wait a second, Gary. Give me my gift.
What's he doing?
Baba Booey.
He was giving it to you like it's his gift. This is just for me. I didn't chip in this year. You know what? This son of a... Mike Ganji says to me this morning, you know what day it is today? I go, what? This is the first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
He goes, you know what day it is today? I go, do I know what day it is today? I knew what he was driving at.
Uh-huh.
I go, do I know what... I said, let me ask you something, Ganji. Are you a quiz show host? Is that your job now to host Jeopardy?
Yeah, you got to hit me with a question.
Is the
as soon
answer,
as we come in?
what is Robin's birthday? Do I have to answer in question form? Where are these tissues?
Oh, I went to go get your gift.
Oh, all right. Thank you, Gary.
Baba Booey.
Overloading him already.
You didn't send him out to do two things at once.
Gary, from now on, carry tissues in your pocket so you're always prepared. The idea that I have to wait disturbs me.
You know, I was reading an article about John Hughes last night.
Yeah.
You know, the guy who makes all those movies like Home Alone and
Right,
stuff.
yeah.
They were, you know, in the article they were writing, he's on a movie set, and they said, you know, he was chain smoking cigarettes and sipping from a Diet Coke that was refreshed every 10 minutes by his assistant.
There you go. That's right. Refreshed. I need to be refreshed every 10 minutes. Refreshed.
Now that's living.
Yeah, well, there's a guy who makes a lot of money for that movie company. You hear that, Gary?
What's that?
John Hughes' assistant refreshes him every 10 minutes with a new Diet Coke.
Yeah, but that's all he has to do all day.
Yeah.
That's
well,
his job.
What else you got to do?
Refresh you.
Gary, we were somewhere yesterday where Gary had to explain to somebody what he did for a living.
Oh, yeah?
It's very difficult with you sitting there.
Yeah. So the guy says, well, what do you do? I said, so Gary looks at me, oh. And I said, well, tell the man.
A lot of intangibles, you know.
Yeah. It's hard to put
Yeah,
a
we
finger
can't
on.
put our fingers on it either.
Try to put your finger on what Gary does. You could refresh boss's drink every 10 minutes. Repeat after me. I am born to serve.
To serve.
All right, very good.
You know, one of our clients, one of our publicist people in L.A. who never heard the show before asked me, where does boy Gary come from?
Yeah.
So I explained to them that, you know, that I said, well, you know, I'm his boy.
Yeah.
They're pretty horrified by it. I go, how
You're
old
my
are
boy.
you? They said, how old are you? I said, 30.
Yeah, but you were like 20-something when I met you.
You were a boy then.
You're still a boy. You're my boy. You do my work. You're my boy. So the guy was like, I don't know, man. It's very intangible. A lot of intangibles. Repeat after me. Intangibles?
Intangibles?
Mean nothing.
Nothing.
So I do nothing.
What did he say? Did he have nothing to
Tell
say?
Robin what you do.
I think I said that I book all the guests on the show, and I take care of a lot of the organizational tasks in the office.
That's why we're disorganized.
Yeah. In fact, I was reading an interview with Gary.
Yes.
Where they ask him what your job is. Let's see. Let me find it. Oh, look at that. It just happens to be handy. Figures.
Boy, what great luck.
Describe a typical workday.
Oh, man.
I live in the city, so I leave my apartment around 5:20 a.m. Doing a lot better than I am.
Yeah.
I get in here around 5:40 a.m.,
and Howard's in reading the paper. So far, all I hear about him leaving his apartment and me reading the paper.
This is a big deal.
I just
Leaving his house.
I just got here.
All right, 3 sentences of work so far. So you must be asking what they do for a living. They have to describe what time they leave.
Right, they'll tell you what they do when they get to the office.
Describe your
he
day.
Didn't say describe.
Describe your day.
Describe your day.
Most people don't describe what time they leave their apartment.
He didn't have to print that.
And then I'll leave at 12 o'clock. I'll leave my apartment at 5:20, get in at 5:40, and then I'll leave at noon. That's pretty much it.
The way this is going, then he would describe, and then I go out at noon and I hail a cab.
Right.
I get back to my apartment.
Or sometimes I go to the gym.
Sometimes I'll subway home.
I get in here around 5:40 a.m. and Howard's in reading the paper, and Stutter and John's in getting the show set up.
So what do you do?
We haven't gotten it. What is he doing? And I just go around and get the studio set up the way he wants it. Is that really true?
No.
Yeah.
It's not true. I thought Ganji does all that. And
Yeah.
Fred.
No, Fred, plays the beginning of the show, but I do come in and make sure that you have the chair that you need and the headphones that you need and that sort of thing.
Okay.
Make sure everything's the way where it should be. Clean it up a little bit because, it might be messy from the overnight job.
All right,
Not
okay.
Maria, but others.
All right. Then I have a list of things he can potentially do for the day. He?
You, meaning you.
Oh. Like, I'll go to him right before the show and say, Arnold Schwarzenegger's calling in at 8 o'clock. Richard Lewis is coming in at 9:15. Don't forget, Judy Tenuta's coming in. We want to talk to her about that marriage certificate, that sort of stuff.
This is almost biblical now, like you as he is God.
Yeah, thank you. Well, as long as if you want to get into that. Then while he's on the air, I'll go over best of. Still don't get what he's doing.
What?
I don't know.
I don't know. I just don't understand this.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I don't either.
It doesn't sound like much of a job so far.
That goes on all morning, plus helping out with the phones, too. Then by 10:30, he's off the air, and I'll start returning calls. Usually after some writing, they leave, and it's a lot easier to get stuff done. What stuff? Bulls, I have to leave early. I got to go rent a truck to pick up the free stuff. I glam with your name. Yesterday was unbelievable. I had a meeting with the guy from Warner Home Video, It was unbelievable. He wanted Gary in there. I said, no. I don't see. Gary never participates in a client meeting ever.
I know why he wanted me in there, though. I do know that.
Why was that?
Because he had a lot of promotions that he wanted to do.
You'll be in there with him afterwards. When I go in. And I said to him, look, I said, what is it? I said, all I know is you want me to watch these videos. You're sending videos to Gary for some reason under his name. He seems to think that they're his videos. He thinks if he gets something in his name, it's his. That's the worst thing you could think, Gary.
I know.
No, the guy is sending it to you so I will see it. For example, one of the videos I'll be talking about is the Josephine Baker story, which I watched.
Uh-huh.
It was laying in Gary's little pile of things to bring home, or garbage pile.
Right, because he didn't want it.
Yeah, he says, oh, boss, you could have it. I'm not going to watch this. I'm not interested in this. I said, oh, thanks. Thank you for letting me have a video. Thank you.
Then I guess that won't be something Gary will talk about on the air.
Yeah, I guess Gary's not interested in that one. So I told Gary from now on, all of his stuff is my stuff. Just because it says Gary Dell'Abate on it doesn't mean it's his.
Yeah.
It's mine. All mine. This whole empire is mine. Think of your universe as mine. Think of me as your parent. You ask your parents' permission before you can go see a movie or read a book.
Or take the car.
Now repeat after me. What's Howard's?
What's Howard's?
Is Howard's.
It's Howard's.
What's mine?
What's mine?
Is Howard's.
Is Howard's.
Everything
is
Howard's.
I got my first real 6-string. Was the summer of 16.
9.
Back in the summer of
9. Show us your Baba Booey. The NFL Network.
If you were a football player, what position would you play?
Ah, man. I mean, I was a football player. Baba Booey. Baba Booey. Baba Booey.
Yeah, anyway.
It's getting crazy out here, ladies and gentlemen.
Channel 2 New York.
And the stadium is filling up fast with less than an hour to go to this first Subway Series showdown of the season. Live at Shea Stadium, Dave Carlin, CBS 2 News.
Fox News.
Trying to show that there's due process here, but I think that's what it's going to wind up when all is said and done. She's going to be the Bahamas next to her son.
Well, Howard K. Stern is speaking. Let's listen. Baba Booey.
Channel 4 St. Louis.
In hindsight, do you wish you could have done more? You know, that question has come up.
See how one little mistake changed sports history.
You know, I came in here at Baba Booey opportunity.
We just kind of Baba Booeyed it at the blue line a couple times.
Looking for a Rangers fan.
Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Booey.
This is Booey 25, celebrating the 25th anniversary of the name that became a movement.
Baba Booey.
Baba Booey.
Baba Booey.
Baba Booey. Baba Booey. Baba Booey.
And Baba Booey PO. All weekend long on Howard 101.
Now, if you had your own talking Carmen Electra doll, what would it say?
Baba Booey.
What's
Hi. You're not a Howard Stern fan.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Hello. I'm so sorry. Just to hear that coming out of your beautiful mouth. Baba Booey. Baba Bye. That's fair enough. So if we pulled the string, that's what it would say. You gotta love that. Gotta love that about her.
Love Howard.
Sorry. Total brain fart.
Does everyone in here know what their IQ is?
No.
Fred, I think, does, right? Because we always.
I know what it was in 8th grade.
I know mine is really.
When do people get their IQs?
Mine's really average.
It is?
Yeah.
Well,
You got your IQ? Because Artie makes a point. Nobody ever told me my IQ.
I think I don't know why I seem to remember a number.
I never got it tested.
I don't even know if it's accurate. In other words,
see, I would assume yours was definitely high.
No, I got to assume mine's really low. I can't add. I can't do math.
You're assuming, but that's ridiculous.
Does that have to do with it? I think it must have common sense.
Like a real mediocre number, like 112 or 119, something like that.
See,
but that's,
what is high?
Average.
What?
I think that's average IQ.
Yeah, average.
I saw mine in my science teacher in 8th grade. He had a book, and next to all names it said IQ, and it was plus and minus 100.
Yeah.
And there were actually a couple of minuses.
Yeah.
There was like one that was like -2, which means somebody had a 98 or like -8 or something. So I saw mine, but it was in 8th grade.
What was it?
It said plus 36.
Wow.
But it's grade.
So you might have 136 IQ.
Who knows?
What is high?
8th grade. It's really an aptitude as opposed to something that's going to change with knowledge.
Yeah, it doesn't change.
Who knows?
IQ is your intelligence quotient. You know? So it's like, that ain't going to change. You ain't going to get smarter unless you take that resell.
So you're 136? What is high, though? What's like the...
I think, is it 140 or 160 for Mensa?
I think it was 140 for Mensa.
140 for Mensa.
You're almost
I know,
Mensa.
I'm no Mensa. Yeah, you're claiming you're almost genius level.
Dude, I saw it in a book. Who knows what's what? Maybe
I don't think there's too many geniuses running around at Delphi.
You never know.
He wanted to show off.
Yeah.
I did. I had a 3.8 grade point average at Delphi.
Christopher, you're on the air in San Francisco.
Yeah, hi. Good morning, Howard.
Hi.
I just wanted to put Gary in his place, saying he has an IQ of 136. I beg your pardon. There's no way he has an IQ anywhere near that.
Yeah, I find that hard to believe,
He's
too.
been keeping it hidden.
I never said I had an IQ. I said I looked at a book and that's what it was. You want me to take a test? Why don't we all take the test?
That's what I want to do. I'll challenge you any day, Gary.
Who are you?
Test. Even unprepared, I can beat you.
All right, well.
How do you
So
prepare
am I supposed to be upset that a stranger might be smarter than me?
Your whole career is based on you lacking the ability to solve problems. And you have an IQ of 136 is all about...
And he went to BOCES.
I mean, I think even Sal's smarter than you.
Is that like an insult to Sal?
I know my IQ was low. I mean, I think I was borderline retarded.
Oh, stop
I'm not
it.
kidding you. I was really disappointed. I remember seeing some, I don't even know that this is right, but I remember either the number 114 or 119.
Right.
What'd you want?
That's above average.
Is it? Because I don't know.
What did you want?
I would like 136
160 or something?
Yeah, sure. I'd like to, like people go, oh, Howard's a genius. And I'm saying to myself, no, I'm not.
I remember around the 2nd grade for some reason a number 170, but that might have been my weight. I have never taken an IQ test to the best
You
of
know
my
what? You
knowledge.
might have.
Probably did, but you
In
never got the
schools,
result.
They weren't supposed, like by the time, like you're 38, they figured out they shouldn't tell a kid what his IQ is because it might actually damage him to think, wow, I'm so limited. But I think back in my day, they just tell you and you had to deal with it.
Really? I mean, In the 70s, they even had that? I mean, I would think that would be like...
Yeah, they had...
Gary
Gary
ask
didn't
what
even
the
know
genius on the phone does for a living?
Gary, you didn't even know what HTJ meant back in the day when Sal used to call you.
Well, what is it that you do that's so important with your
I'm a
ridiculously
computer
high IQ?
Computer scientist. And I run two companies. I run two companies.
What's your IQ?
I don't believe that, actually.
Mine is 129.
It seems pissed, Gary, that you might have
like I said, if you want
Gary's 136, he claims.
I never said I was 136.
I think 136 is the number of M&Ms that Gary eats in a minute, but that's just my guess.
There you go.
All right.
Now we're talking.
All right. Hey, thanks, bro.
Okay, Bill. Take care.
Alex, don't let him hang up.
Why?
Because I would take an IQ test against him, and if he loses, then Sal gets to teabag him.
Well, maybe he'll call back. Christopher, go ahead.
Yeah, Gary, I was going to go on about my way this morning, but Gary said he wanted to challenge me to an IQ test.
Yeah, all right. You want to come down here?
Anywhere, anytime.
All right, Gary, this guy wants to challenge you to an IQ test.
And what's the penalty?
Right, but if he loses, he gets teabagged.
Right.
And if I lose, nothing happens because I don't claim to be smarter than him.
Okay. This brings up, and why don't we all take them?
I can give you a test right now you couldn't pass.
Go ahead, give him a test.
Okay, there's 10 people in the race, Gary. You overtake the last person. What position are you in?
There's 10 people in a race. I overtake
the last person. What position are you in?
Well, I would think it's ninth, but it clearly can't be the right
answer.
answer.
Can I answer it?
Yeah.
How can you overtake the last person? You're the last person.
Right, then
Gary's wrong.
Get the f*** out of you, dummy. He is a retard.
I can keep going.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to give you 3 words, and I want you to tell me what the words are. Okay, I'm going to spell it. Okay, you ready?
Sure.
Okay, first word, M-C-D-O-N-A-L-D-S.
Say that again slowly. A-C-D-O-N.
A-L-D-S.
Oh, you said MC.
MC,
right.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said AC.
No, MC.
MC. Keep up.
So it sounds like McDonald's, but I didn't hear all the letters, so I'm not going to...
That's right. Okay, you got that one right. All right, this is 3-part question. Next word. M-A-C-D-O-U-G-L-A-S.
It sounds like McDougal's.
Correct. Okay, last one.
Here's the trick part. M-A-C.
H-I-N-E.
H-I-N-E. H-I-N-E.
Go ahead, quickly.
McHine.
It's a machine, you nitwit.
He tricked you.
McHine.
But that's not IQ. That's dumb trick questions.
Exactly.
No, but it's
that sounds like you got to get a TV.
That has nothing to do with...
I think it's about listening and...
to do with IQ. It's abstract thinking.
I can tell you, I was in the garage yesterday, and the guy in the garage, for some reason, John in the garage, shows me this piece of paper, and it's got a sentence in it, and it says, how many F's are in this,
No such word.
I got it.
You can't even take, you're not even qualified to take an
So come in here and get Sal's cock on your face, you big homo.
No homo here, buddy.
All right, Christopher, you two guys will take your IQ test, but Chris...
Anywhere, anytime.
All right.
It's not about even preparation. You're supposed to be able to do this.
Right, no, you can't prep for it.
On the fly.
So probably one day next week, you'll come in.
I could probably keep up with Fred.
We'll probably one day next week come in. We'll do it at like shut up a second.
Okay.
One day next week you'll come in. I think they take about an hour. We'll do it at 7, and we'll have results by 8:15.
I can do it in 30 minutes.
Whatever it takes you to do it, do it. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Okay. McHine.
I'm a monkey. I need longer.
We'll leave you a message on your answering McHine.
All right, later, bro.
Thank you.
McHine ball.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I'll take an IQ test with you too, buddy.
I told you I have a low IQ. You're the one who said you had 136.
I never said I had one. I said I saw it. But here's the funny thing. I said I saw a thing on a piece of paper, which you guys now have made fact.
McHine.
You know, the machine one I had heard before, and I thought, my God, he's fallen into that trap because, I mean, I guess it's a typical trap people fall into, but I had heard that question before for some reason.
McHine?
Yeah, I'd heard that same.
Well, I just want you to know.
Maybe you heard it in 2nd grade.
I want you to know.
Maybe I did. I don't know.
I want you to know that I took a little test at the garage yesterday that John at the garage gave me, and I got higher than every doctor and lawyer he showed it to. Just want to say.
All right. Thank you, Gary, and we'll see how you do against that gentleman. McHine. Oh, by the way, I never played you the clip of Inside the Porn Actor Studio, and then we'll get to Heidi Cortez.
Okay.
But
is she here?
Yes, she's here.
I don't think I've ever met her. I don't remember.
Yes, you have. We've had her on the show before. She's hot. Like Gary comes in, he goes, man, she's got such a great face and such beautiful tits. He goes,
God, she's so adorable.
She's adorable.
Adorable.
That's high praise.
She's adorable.
She's adorable.
I like to use my kind on her.
Yeah, you know what it is? She's not like she doesn't look like she's been through the mill. She's just naturally pretty and.
Yeah, what did you say? I forget the quote. You were like, "She's not a whore."
She's not like a washed up hose bag.
Yeah.
For a whore, she's no whore.
She doesn't look like a whore.
She's a kind.
How about Terminator 3, Rise of the McKines?
McKine.
McKine head.
I just bought a new adding McKine.
By Bush, McKine head.
You believe he didn't know Machine?
How about we could go on forever. This Pink Floyd. Welcome
to the McKine.
Fred, are you surprised he didn't know Machine?
I was a little shocked, but you know, I mean, you could tell, like Artie was saying, those are one of those questions
It leads you to
that
a
lead
certain,
you to believe a certain way of thinking.
Yeah.
No, you got to think a little. A lot of people like Gary's new name, McHine. And it seems to be sticking a little. McKine. Jessica Hine, you're on the air.
McKine. So I actually missed the show for a day. Howard, are you there?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you guys. I missed the show for like a day or two, and I don't know what that means. I feel so lost. Like, how did he get this new name? And how do you say it?
First of all, it said McKine.
McKine. Yeah, get with it.
McKine is Gary's new name.
McKine.
And it seems to be sticking.
Is
McKine.
it like M-C-K-I-N-D?
No, it's MACHINE.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, and what does it mean?
Well, if I was to give you an IQ test, and I said to you, some guy called in because Gary was sort of claiming he had a high IQ.
Should we just ask?
Let's see, Jessica.
Yeah.
All right. If you were
It's how you pronounce.
How do you pronounce words
spelled?
How do you pronounce this word? You ready?
Uh-huh.
Benji, you know it?
I know
it's
it.
M-A-C.
Yeah.
D-O-N-A-L-D.
S.
Wait. Say it one more time.
No, you got to answer quick. MACDONALDS.
McDonough?
Right. That's right.
Right.
It is?
Right. All right. Now say this one. MACDOUGLAS.
McDowell? Oh, I didn't even hear the last three letters.
MACDOUGLAS.
McDowell. I don't even know.
All right, that was close enough. Okay, now say this one. MACHINE.
McHine.
There you go.
Your name's McHine, too.
Is it right?
Yes.
No, it isn't, is it?
Your name is now McHine. How do you get that wrong?
I don't know.
I got it wrong? I'm never right.
Spell say MACHINE.
MACHINE. McHine. McHine.
No.
Write it down, Jessica, and look at it.
All right, thank you, Robin. MAC.
Let's just make it Jessica's name.
McHan.
What?
McHan.
Yeah, McHan, like my name.
Jessica McHan.
Let's
write it down.
MAC.
Right.
HINE.
Right.
It's still McHine. McHine?
She's
all right,
the
wait,
best.
McKin.
Oh, dear.
You're getting close.
I feel like one of those models. Hine, H-I-N-E. McHine. Heine.
You know
That's
what?
it. You got it. Heine. McHine. See?
You know what, Jess? Figure it out and call us back in like a couple hours.
Thanks, baby.
All right?
Write down the word MACHINE.
Yeah.
Call your friends.
And when you figure out how to say it.
No, you guys just embarrass me every day. It's amazing that I call in.
What? What's
embarrassing you?
I know. It's wrong, isn't it? It's not McHiney.
Yeah, McHiney.
Call back in a couple hours and look at it, study it.
Already, a couple of hours is not going to cut it.
Let me ask you something. You're a smart girl.
No, I'm not.
I'm going to spell a word for you. I want you to tell me what it spells.
Okay.
MACHINE.
Am I? You're doing what you do to Beetlejuice.
No, MACHINE.
Okay. McChine.
All right,
now,
you're getting
what does
closer.
McHine mean?
Now you've heard the word McChine.
No, I have not. Ever.
What number comes after 3?
4.
Okay. Now, I'm going to spell a word. I want you to tell me what it says. M-A-C. Listen to me. M-A-C-H-I-N-E.
It's McHiney.
All right, you got it now. McHiney. So there.
Is it really, Howard?
Yeah, yes.
You guys are laughing at me. It is.
So the next time you listen to Pink Floyd, and they say, welcome to the McHiney.
Or when you're listening to the old James Brown records and he says Heine.
Or it's Heine.
McHiney. Yeah.
Oh, thank God I still look good. McHiney. It's not McHiney. I know it isn't.
Well, how would you spell James
You know,
Brown's
I'm
song?
still as gullible. How would I spell James Brown's what?
No, you know what? I think
right,
we
let
should
me
give her a
ask-
couple hours.
Let's see how long it takes.
Call back in at like
Artie, it's
8.
never going to... No, it's not going to work.
What?
Wait a second. Do you have a piece of paper there?
I would love
Yes.
to give her all
Do you
day.
have a pen?
Yes, right in
right.
front of me.
All right. Spell the word right in front of you now in big letters.
Yes.
One word.
Yes.
M-A-C-H-I-N-E.
Oh, my God, it's Machine.
Yes!
McHine.
Oh, my God, I'm so embarrassed.
McHine.
The only thing that sucks is you make Gary look amazing.
Oh, my
McHine.
Well, he
God.
never figured it out.
Oh, my God, in heaven, I'm so embarrassed.
Well, that's why...
You were...
Good thing you're hot.
Oh, I'm so
McHine.
embarrassed. I am. Oh, my God, McHiney. Oh, that's like saying Arkansas or Arkansas. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, I'm so embarrassed, Howard.
All right. Well,
Well,
there you
that's
go.
how Baba Booey became McKine.
He's
But
McHiney.
Oh, because he said machine, McKine instead of machine?
Yes.
No, he did not.
Yeah, he did.
Are you mocking me, Jessica?
No, because I think you're smarter than that. I'm the one that would do something like that, like I just showed you. Howard, Gary's smart, honey. He didn't do that.
It's a trick question.
It is,
Jessica,
Gary,
okay,
isn't
Jessica.
it? What?
It
is a trick.
You ready? Here you go. Spell the word.
where?
Spell the word P-O-S-T.
P-O-S-T, post. P-O-S-T, he said?
Yes. Gary just screwed it up now. He's
He
trying
said spell the word.
spell the word post.
Okay, now spell the word M-A-C-H-I-N-E.
That's a joke.
What, Gary?
What's going on there?
Oh, my God, I'm so embarrassed, you guys.
McHiney.
It was Machine McHiney. Oh, my... Oh, I got to go now for a walk.
Wait, no.
What is
What?
it, Gary? You got me hanging here. All right. Thank you.
Oh, Heine. Oh,
All right, bye,
God.
Jessica.
Jessica, spell. Jessica, say this word. D-U-M-F-U-K.
Thanks.
Oh, you didn't have to rub that
That's
in.
not right.
Well, she got it right though.
Artie, I'm always so kind to you.
We're kidding around,
I
Jess.
know.
Come on, we got to. It took you an hour to figure it out. We got to give you some break.
All right, thank you, Jessica.
I know.
Now you know Gary's name again.
Oh, good. Bye.
Bye.
McHine.
You're listening to Booey 25 on Howard 101.
Thing happened during the commercials.
What?
Gary comes to me. He goes, "Okay, listen, I got to talk to you because Artie's out of the room." He goes, "Artie's." He starts telling me something. Artie was in the room.
Artie stood up.
No, Artie was sitting right there. Gary was looking at him.
I had my head down looking at the newspaper.
So Gary goes, "Oh, come on, it wasn't that bad." I go, "Gary, it was embarrassing," and I made a face. And Gary's like, "Oh, come on, like you've never done that?" And I go, "No, I don't. I look. I mean, I look."
I looked over. I really did look over. He had his head all the way down.
What did he say?
It was not that big a
bad?
deal, but
No,
but
it's not
it
bad.
It could have been bad, but it wasn't. But you have a way.
You're funny, though,
No, but
dude.
you're funny.
No, because you don't want to
can I
admit you did a Baba Booey.
There's no doubt, but you have a way of just going out of your way to make people feel worse about it when the mic isn't on.
Dude,
what?
I was embarrassed. That's all.
Robert, can I show you the face?
Yeah, show her.
He goes like this. He goes, oh.
Well, it was bad. And John was like,
You seen that
Jesus
face, Robert?
Christ.
You seen that face?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. So
What happens when Howard Stern's staff asks him the questions they've always wanted answered? It's time to Ask Howard with Rachel Fine.
Here we are for another very important Ask Howard.
Very important.
Yes.
Yes.
Mike Fox on the tapes team asks,
if you had to swap lives, including bodies, with Gary, would you prefer not to have big teeth, not to have toe fungus, or something else?
Well, that toe fungus really weirds me out.
It's weird.
Gary and I have hung out socially. He's come over. He swam in my pool. And I always look down at those feet, and there's a lot of weird stuff going on. But the teeth,
Every day, those are out there.
Can't hide them.
Look, I can't be too critical. I've got a lot of flaws myself. So, you know, and women have told me they think Gary's very good looking.
He's a good-looking guy.
Good-looking guy. Yeah. My wife thinks so, and I don't see it. I got him beaten to the feet department, but, I mean, listen, I'm no beauty, so I guess I wouldn't want his feet with the toe fungus.
Next question comes from Lee Garowitz.
What advice do you have for aspiring broadcasters, and what makes a good broadcaster?
As a broadcaster, you must be well-rounded. You must be able to speak well. You shouldn't have grammatical errors. You should be tremendously well-rounded. I'm very weak in the sports area, as most of my fans know. I wish I could really spew out stuff. I wish I was better musically, not with my musical knowledge, but actually as a musician, so that when Fred picks up the guitar, I could play the piano or something. That would be a tremendous strength. And I think that if someone's considering broadcasting, forget about broadcasting school. Read the newspaper every day, read the New York Times, read 2 other papers, become a musician, learn a foreign language. That's another weakness of mine. I used to love, when I was a kid, I would listen to the Barry Farber radio show. He would break out into 5 different languages, including Hungarian. And I thought, what a cool thing. So sort of all of the cool things you know make you this amazing broadcaster, and I have weaknesses in my education. I should have paid way more attention in school. I have a lot of weaknesses.
You gave like a couple good things and a lot of weaknesses, and you're one of the greatest broadcasters in history.
No, but there's a lot of weaknesses,
okay.
A lot. And I'm disappointed in myself. If I had to do it all over again, I would have spent more time as a younger guy paying attention.
So critical.
You know? But who knows, you know. Maybe that's what makes somebody a good broadcaster, having limited resources and learning how to draw on whatever you do have.
Having humanity to say, this is just who I am. I'm not playing this character.
Well, my strength is telling a story and understanding editing, too. My parents were incredibly tough on me, and I hate to reward this kind of behavior, but it's true. They would just get annoyed with me if I rambled on too long. I took it very seriously. If I'd have to get them to laugh. My mother and my aunt used to sit there, and they would have me do impressions of the family, and I had to get the impression right. They didn't laugh. You know, there was very little tolerance for people who didn't understand self-editing. And I have to edit every 5 seconds on the show. If Gary brings me something, I have to make a decision. Do we go with it? Don't we go with it? Is that interesting to a large group of people? And it all goes back to sort of that education in the living room. So who knows what makes up what makes a great broadcaster great, you know? It's tough. It's a very tough discussion.
Question from Will Murray.
Describe your perfect day.
Perfect day is I have a day off. I sleep in till at least 8 o'clock, which is rare. Like, I just get a great night's sleep. And then my wife and I will either go for a walk or a run or do something together. I like spending time with her. She's fabulous. I like to have a nice lunch, take a nap, maybe even get a massage, you know. Once in a while, I like that. Go out to dinner with my wife. I like that. Maybe do some photography or something like that. That relaxes me, or either gets me crazy. Everything gets me crazy. Something like that, a really relaxing day. I don't like to go anywhere. I don't want to be anywhere in a foreign country. Just want to be home, chilling out, watch a few good movies or TV. That's it for me. They're very simple needs.
That was terrific. I learned a lot about you today.
Yes, it was terrific. You're absolutely right.
I like that you like these.
Yes.
What happens when Howard Stern's staff asks him the questions they've always wanted answered? It's time to Ask Howard with Rachel Fine.
Here we are for another very important Ask Howard.
Very important.
Yes.
Yes.
Mike Fox on the tapes team asks,
if you had to swap lives, including bodies, with Gary, would you prefer not to have big teeth, not to have toe fungus, or something else?
Well, that toe fungus really weirds me out.
It's weird.
Gary and I have hung out socially. He's come over. He's swam in my pool. And I always look down at those feet, and there's a lot of weird stuff going on. But the teeth, every day those are out there.
Can't hide them.
Look, I can't be too critical. I've got a lot of flaws myself. So, you know, and women have told me they think Gary's very good looking.
He's a good-looking guy.
Good-looking guy. Yeah. My wife thinks so, and I don't see it. I got him beaten to the feet department, but, I mean, listen, I'm no beauty, so I guess I wouldn't want his feet with the toe fungus.
Next question comes from Lee Garowitz.
What advice do you have for aspiring broadcasters, and what makes a good broadcaster?
As a broadcaster, you must be well-rounded. You must be able to speak well. You shouldn't have grammatical errors. You should be tremendously well-rounded. I'm very weak in the sports area, as most of my fans know. I wish I could really spew out stuff. I wish I was better musically, not with my musical knowledge, but actually as a musician, so that when Fred picks up the guitar, I could play the piano or something. That would be a tremendous strength. And I think that if someone's considering broadcasting, forget about broadcasting school. Read the newspaper every day, read the New York Times, read 2 other papers, become a musician, learn a foreign language. That's another weakness of mine. I used to love, when I was a kid, I would listen to the Barry Farber radio show. He would break out into 5 different languages, including Hungarian. And I thought, what a cool thing. So sort of all of the cool things you know make you this amazing broadcaster, and I have weaknesses in my education. I should have paid way more attention in school. I have a lot of weaknesses.
You gave like a couple good things and a lot of weaknesses, and you're one of the greatest broadcasters in history.
No, but there's a lot of weaknesses, a lot. And I'm disappointed in myself. If I had to do it all over again, I would have spent more time as a younger guy paying attention.
So critical.
You know? But who knows, you know? Maybe that's what makes somebody a good broadcaster, having limited resources and learning how to draw on whatever you do have.
Having humanity to say, this is just who I am. I'm not playing this character.
Well, my strength is telling a story and understanding editing, too. My parents were incredibly tough on me, and I hate to reward this kind of behavior, but it's true. They would just get annoyed with me if I rambled on too long. I took it very seriously. If I'd have to get them to laugh. My mother and my aunt used to sit there, and they would have me do impressions of the family, and I had to get the impression right. They didn't laugh. You know, there was very little tolerance for people who didn't understand self-editing. And I have to edit every 5 seconds on the show. If Gary brings me something, I have to make a decision. Do we go with it? Don't we go with it? Is that interesting to a large group of people? And it all goes back to sort of that education in the living room. So who knows what makes up for what makes a great broadcaster great, you know? It's tough. It's a very tough discussion.
Question from Will Murray.
Describe your perfect day.
Perfect day is I have a day off. I sleep in till at least 8 o'clock, which is rare. Like, I just get a great night's sleep. And then my wife and I will either go for a walk or a run or do something together. I like spending time with her. She's fabulous. I like to have a nice lunch, take a nap, maybe even get a massage, you know. Once in a while, I like that. Go out to dinner with my wife. I like that. Maybe do some photography or something like that. That relaxes me, or either gets me crazy. Everything gets me crazy. Something like that, a really relaxing day. I don't like to go anywhere. I don't want to be anywhere in a foreign country. Just want to be home, chilling out, watch a few good movies or TV. That's it for me. They're very simple needs.
That was terrific. I learned a lot about you today.
Yes, it was terrific. You're absolutely right.
I like that you like these.
Yes.
This is Dr. Shiner. He's a plastic surgeon out of Tampa. I don't know how this all came about, but Dr. Shiner somehow ended up evaluating our faces and telling us what we need.
What pictures was he given?
Evidently really bad ones. Because there's a whole... I told you, the list was so long of shit we need done to us that we ran out of paper in the fax machine. Hey, Dr. Shiner.
Hey, good morning.
Well, good morning to you. What's happening?
There's no reason to start. You can't really do that much surgery on a person, can you?
Yeah, in fact, they said we would lose too much blood during these operations. But, yeah, I was taking a look at the pictures. We have pictures to go along with this. We could show them on Howard TV, but... if Gary's the worst, he got it the worst from Dr. Shiner.
Oh, no.
I mean, there were so many multiple
What
things.
would he have to do to Gary?
Dr. Shiner, in a way, isn't it dangerous to go to a guy like you? Because if you're feeling good about your face or semi-good about your face, you guys actually
if
point
you can
out...
live with yourself.
Like, Gary, I didn't even... Your eyebrows are descending, it says here.
I looked at the notes. I was just telling Howard, I looked at the notes, and there's a lot of shit about myself I feel bad about. I had not noticed my eyebrows. So I'm just looking in the mirror to see what's wrong with my eyebrows.
Oh,
Right.
no. See? That's not right.
Dr. Shiner, what's wrong with his eyebrows? I mean, I know, but you tell everybody.
Right. I mean, so actually, when I was looking at Gary, I found the simple things for him are, as we age, one of the things that occurs is our brows start to descend.
Yes.
And the reason I can tell that with him...
Like an ape.
Yeah. Right.
His brows are now his mustache? What are you talking about?
So he's got that line in his forehead, and that's actually a hidden sign that he's actually raising his brows a lot, because if he relaxed his forehead, his brows would be... I mean, he can do this. He can actually be close to his eyes.
See, that's another thing. I wasn't...
look, even in the picture, he's raising his eyebrows.
Yes.
Yes, you're right, Doctor.
This is my specialty.
Oh, wow, look at that. You see that?
So if you raise his eyebrows, he would look younger.
Well, it's a couple things. One thing is that, yes, if we could equalize those areas, that could be better. We communicate most with our eyes and our mouth. Whenever we can do to make those areas look better has a huge
I got to tell you,
impact.
you're onto something, because we have like this little graphic drawing where the eyebrow is where it is, and then where you raise it. And he does look better.
My eyes look more open when the eyebrows are raised.
Let me see. Look at me. Oh, yeah, look at that. That's fucking... Now I see it.
I mean,
I never noticed it before.
Yeah, see, now we're looking at it, and you can see that one eyebrow is lower.
Yeah, watch when Gary looks at you now. Look at that.
Yeah.
All right, so, Doctor, here's a question.
I wish he hadn't pointed that out. Now I'm going to obsess on it.
Here's a question. The operation or whatever it takes to do this, how painful is it?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about it. Some things are really simple, Gary. Like raising brows, that can be done non-surgical with something called Botox. I do Botox brow lifts all the time.
Oh, will that get rid of the line on my forehead?
Yeah, and that can help with that, too. Yeah.
Hold on a second. You're telling me with Botox,
his eyebrows will raise.
his eyebrow will go back up?
Yeah, I can raise. Yes, I do that all the time.
But how often do I have to do that?
I mean, that's like a 4 to 6 month time period, but it's not surgery. And there are surgical procedures, but that's easy.
Wow.
I mean, the second thing, Gary, was the pigment that you had on your face. If that could be evened out, we like a cleaner complexion.
You mean he's got, what like pimples?
Yeah, no, like the spots he has on his cheeks.
Let me see. Come close to me.
What cheek
I'm going to look you over.
spots?
Let me see your cheeks. You're talking about it on his face, not his ass. Look at that. I don't see any spots on his cheeks, Doc.
In the picture, it shows up.
Give me the picture.
I don't see that.
But I would tell you the biggest the biggest thing for Gary is...
But hold on. By the way, I see them when I look in the mirror every morning. They're right about here. And you can see them on the picture. If you
How do you get rid of them?
Like here.
Right. This is easy, too.
Oh, okay.
There's
I wouldn't have noticed that.
Using light, I have something called broad-based light, and I can target pigment on the face.
And he needs that.
Yeah, and that's easy.
He needs laser.
Hey, please don't make me any darker.
I mean, really, honestly, Gary, the biggest thing is, and we'll talk about this, and I'm going to teach you something here, is that we like to see our faces in balance, right? There's ratios that exist in the face. If you take the following, if you take the top of his the hairline and bring it down to the middle of the brow, consider that a third of the face. That actually equals the third from the middle of the brow down to his nose. Can you see that?
Yeah.
If you then take that third and try and bring it down to the jaw, do you see how it doesn't match anymore? The lower jaw is bigger than that third. Do you see that?
Right.
Yeah.
All right, look, we're obviously dealing with a horrible candidate here because, I mean, how expensive is it to Botox that eyebrow up? I got to get that eyebrow of his up now.
That's cheap.
That's not a big deal. That is not a big deal.
Give me a ballpark.
That's hundreds. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, I think it's like $300. I want to know about The jaw.
All right,
Yeah,
now
what are you
that-
going to do to his
You say-
jaw?
Let's talk.
All right, now, so Gary's, I would say from below his nose is the real disaster area. Right? He's got giant teeth, lips. Gary, I mean, no offense.
Understood.
Right, I mean,
No, and let me tell you, Howard, what happened here, actually. This is, Gary, this is just the way you were born, okay? You're the top part of your jaw.
you don't think that was from an accident? You say he was born like that.
Is that the top part of your jaw grew larger than other parts of your face. And it's actually called something called a long face syndrome. And in other words...
Why the long face, Gary?
Me and Mr. Ed.
It's also known as something called a gummy smile.
Yes, he's got, it's a...
How could he have a gummy smile with all those teeth?
Doctor.
Yes.
You're so right. It distracts me every morning as he's doing the show rundown.
You can see his gums?
Absolutely. Where have you been?
I have a gummy smile. I admit that.
But how does this, I just
Look,
can't
when
imagine.
I do my Gary impression, what do? I go like this. Hello, Mole. You know, that's my Gary.
So insulting.
I didn't mean it as an insult. If I did, I apologize.
Look, Gary, you were born this way.
That's right. You know what? I used to think it was an accident. I'm glad the doctor cleared it up. All right. So what would you have to technically do to fix that?
Okay, this is a bigger deal, okay? But this is done. They actually go into the jaw. They take out some of the bone for the upper jaw. And they advance the lower jaw. But if you see the after photo, when you do that, it brings them back to that ratio of a third. It's a much nicer look, right?
Now that's got to be. He probably can't eat for months after that.
Yeah, it's a bigger deal. And I'm not saying he has to go that far, but if he wanted to, that's what could be done for him.
I think he needs to do it. I'm looking at the before and after.
That's a big enough deal to do it?
Don't you think I missed my window? In other words, shouldn't I have done this when I was 20?
Right, but I don't think you gained that much.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm not seeing.
No.
I'm not spending $20,000 and not eating for 3 months to look that an inch better.
You still look like Gary.
Yeah, that's the problem. At the end of the day, he still looks like Gary.
But I'm telling you, all jokes aside, I would consider the Botox.
You would?
Yeah.
Why?
Because
who gives a shit? We're dudes.
It's inexpensive, and the eyebrow thing.
We
I never
noticed your brow.
Yeah,
I know, but it looked better, didn't it?
You know what's weird? The doctor's talking about symmetry. Like there's one side of your face where your eye is almost closed.
Yeah.
On the other side, your eye's open.
I will tell you that I did some photos, like press photos, and I got rid of 3/4 of them for that exact reason. For some reason, my eye is closed in the picture.
Right. And you know what happens, Gary, I'll tell you, actually, is that here's the thing. Your brow, as I said, is sort of low normally. It's hidden, but it's low. When you raise your brows all the time, that's great. You try and smile and keep your forehead raised. No, it doesn't work. I mean, when you smile, your whole face relaxes, so that hidden brow droop becomes more apparent when you smile.
Now, doctor, you also say that Gary's particular problem was identified in early man. that Gary might actually, Gary's sixth toe and lowered eyebrow indicates something. All right, so that's that. Let's go through the Benji. I looked at your now. I see we give him a hair transplant. Benji, you do look better with hair. I got to say. I
mean,
think
Howard, let's talk about it again. Remember thirds we're talking about. Now, his is in the reverse. Go from the bottom of his chin up to the base of the nose. That's a third.
Yeah.
Go from the bottom of the nose up to the middle of the brow. That's a third. Go up from there, and it's much larger, right?
Right.
So if we could lower the hairline and give him make that a third, that helps.
Oh.
That did help.
Come on.
That does help.
That hair doesn't help. You got to get good hair.
Well, that's all he's got.
But the balance makes better. And then the other thing I recommend for his chin, liposuction along the chin, and then the same broad-based light to clear out the pinkness on his face.
Have you ever seen a guy with a blotchier complexion? Look at him. You go back to the before picture. Whoa! What? Look at around his nostrils. You got the deep red thing, like it looks like a forest of red.
There are conditions like rosacea that can cause that, and anyway, it's treatable.
What is that? Is he nervous?
So
he sweats a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so that's what you do for. Well, listen.
See, again, he still looked like Benji.
I think he looks like a better version of him, actually. I think he looks like his younger brother, right?
Right. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, he'd be the handsome brother.
Yeah, he'd be the brother, but doesn't look too bad. By the way, all these pictures are up on howardstern.com. If you go there, you'll see what Dr. Shiner's going to do to Benji, what he's going to do to Gary. Fred, does Fred need a lot of work? He's so handsome. All I can think about is giving him anal.
Fred is our silver fox.
He's a silver fox to me.
My kid's got to go to college. I'm not buying any of this, Doc.
Let's see. It says here Fred needs he has heavy eyelids and drooping eyebrow. He does.
There's nothing I can do about that.
Let me see.
Yes, they can.
I've always had those eyes. I'm born with that shit.
Well, let the doctor talk. Maybe I can.
Yeah, that actually, Gary. I mean, Fred, that could be helped. That is as easy as a Botox thing, or there are surgeries that can be done to help it more permanently.
Yeah.
The lower eyelid there is, I mean, these are normal, listen, these are normal changes we all face. I'm not saying this is anything, I mean, a lot of your...
Fred looks very old, yes. Loss of
And you're a
facial
spring
volume.
chicken.
Oh, yes. I look very young, Fred. Yeah, I'm just lucky that way. Now, you say facial fillers to reduce aging process.
Yeah, one of the things that as we age, we lose facial volume. And there's actually papers looking at this. It happens asymmetrically. We can gain volume in certain areas and lose volume in other areas. If we can restore the volume around the mouth area, as I said, that's one of the critical areas that we communicate with. I think it's really powerful for Fred, and the way it turns that image. I mean, I think it looks like a much better version of himself.
Well, like Liberace and Boober, I might just send him in for a little work so he can look a little more like me. Let's see, John Hine. Okay, what about Robin? What are we going to do for her?
Yeah, what can you do?
Let's get down to Robin.
I mean, Robin's beautiful, so we don't have to do anything really. But
exactly.
Sure. Now let's talk.
All right, now let's get down to it.
If you want to make, I mean, Robin, you are beautiful. If you want to make you more stunning, okay.
In other words, she's a 10. You can make her a 12.
I'm just saying, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's some, I mean, same thing. It's volume issues, and it's the area of the jawline. So if we could add volume back to the area around the mouth and do something to straighten, to do with the jawline, that'd be liposuction. I think you're beautiful, Robin. Just makes you even better.
No, I'm all for making Robin better. That's absolutely true. I mean, Robin, you'd be a 12. Could you imagine what your life would be? Me too. Well, it says here, Howard needs nothing. He's so handsome.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Thank you, Fred. Let's see. Loss of facial volume. Like Fred, you need to fill in all those heavy... I have those huge lines.
I know. You always talk about them, but
I mean, honestly, it's a real loss of volume. Howard, for you, what I was saying, really, the eye and the mouth. So the eye area, I was saying, if you could, it would be surgery, okay? But if you could do surgery for the eyelids, I do that stuff with lasers.
The eyelids?
Mm-hmm, the upper eyelids. And then if we could add volume back to the lower face, there's actually a product. This isn't surgery, mind you. There's a product called Sculptra. And what it is a product we use as a facial filler. It takes a while to work, but once it's set up, it lasts years. You would be a great candidate for that, Howard, because if you could add volume to that area, you look at your after, it really, I mean, you look like you, but it's just...
I look like gorgeous.
You look like a softer you.
A better me. Now, Doc, is any of this stuff... When I hear women are injecting rat poison into their face, and you know, that's basically what I don't get. Like, I'm not doing anything. I mean, what's the difference at this point? I'm a mess. You know what I mean? But...
You know, it's just personal. If something you want to do, I'm just saying there are options for people if they want to do these things.
You're saying you get rid of all that shit on my face like that in the after picture? Is that accurate?
Yeah, I mean, really the volume. Yeah, if you had the volume is the most powerful thing for you.
Volume. In other words, what do you stick in my face to give me volume?
There's a product called Sculptra, and what it is there's a suture material that we use in surgery that makes collagen, and they take advantage of this, and they make it into little tiny bits. They put it in the face, and then the body will build its own collagen around these products.
Really?
Yeah.
How long does that take?
It takes about an hour to do. What happens, actually, I have newscasters who I do this for in my area on the evening news, and I like this because you look better gradually. What happens is you get the result. It goes down. You get a view of what it looks like. It goes down in about 2 days because the water resorbs, and then the particles that are left over about 8 weeks, the body responds to and builds collagen all over the place.
Wow.
And so each week you get better and look better and better and better.
Imagine how gorgeous I'd be. I'm a 10.
And then when does it start to go bad again?
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's like...
You know what it's like? It's like...
Charlie.
Like he was retarded, and then in the book, Flowers for Algernon, he becomes a genius, and then he slowly starts becoming retarded again. And that's the bitch.
Hey, Howard?
Yeah.
I have a quick question for that. Is that the same stuff that you would put in my face, that Bondo or whatever?
Fred, let's go in. We'll get 2 for 1.
How about, is there any way you can get a donation of, like, facial filler? Like, since Benji's so fat in his face,
we could
take the fat out of his face?
Would you want Benji's anything in your face?
You're right. Let's go with the Bondo.
It might make you crazy.
Hey, Robin, look at your after and before. See that?
Well, she always looks good.
Yeah, but that's not enough.
It's not enough.
Not for me to do it.
I like my after picture, but
I thought actually John was pretty cool too.
Let me take a look at John Hine. I thought he looked a little too feminine after you got done with him.
Really?
For
he
my
got
taste.
that feminine look?
Yeah, you got to be careful, dudes, when you go do this stuff, because you could end up looking like...
Because that usually ends up what
Oh,
happens.
God, he looks scary now.
John looks like he saw a ghost. Leave John alone, Doc. I think you were hitting home runs with everyone else. But listen, Doc, it's fascinating. Dr. Shiner's plastic surgery critique is up on howardstern.com. You will see how gorgeous I look after Dr. Shiner will get done with me. But I don't know, man. I don't know, Robin.
I like a natural look. I think I look like, Kim Kardashian or something.
I think I got to admit, Dr. Shiner's after picture does look way better on me. But, hey. I don't know. Then you got to go do all this stuff. Dr. Shiner, give yourself a plug here, or I'll give it to you. For more information on Dr. Adam Shiner's practice, go to adamshinermd.com. Hey, thanks, Dr. Shiner.
Hey, it's been a pleasure. Thank
Pleasure.
you.
Later.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Yeah, a lot to
Well,
consider.
now we know there's something we can do.
I thought it was hopeless. Thing I like is, like, as I get older, I see what he's talking about down here. Like, he could fill that out. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it smooths things. That's, you were talking about John Kerry a few weeks ago, and now I can't stop staring at his face.
I know. It just seems kind of girly, you know?
Yeah.
And then I see a lot of women who do this shit, and it goes horribly wrong.
I'm fucking hideous, but at least I look like a fucking guy. Come on. All right?
Yeah,
Him, on the other hand, he needs help.
You shouldn't feel
He
bad.
needs a lot of help. A lot of help.
Will you guys dwell on these issues like Howard said he's going to now? That it's in one ear out the other.
No.
I'm mesmerized by my face. It's beautiful.
The only one.
And I realize, like, I've gained weight again. I gotta get in good shape because I have such a beautiful face.
Do you feel slighted in the sense that they didn't look at your calves and some of your other great features?
No. My face is my, what do you call it? Yeah. Yeah.
That's your meal ticket?
I have a beautiful face. I like, look at it. Close.
His face is his fortune. Unfortunately, Benji is bankrupt.
I love it. I don't know.
Maybe
it's just
baby blues. Here, look. Can you tilt up your brim a little bit so we can really see the full color? There you go. So, Fred, your solution is just be happy that you're not Benji.
Pretty much. I wake up every day, and that's my mantra. You know, it's like there are people of a certain faith that say, "Thank God I wasn't born a woman," which I think is very sexist, and maybe this is like Benjist, but I wake up every day and say, "Thank God I'm not Benji."
Interestingly, I wake up saying, "Thank God I'm Benji."
You're the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah, plastic surgery is a tricky thing, man. I see too many
You
guys
know, it's
looking
you
like
see
women.
So many people.
Yeah. And you know what?
I don't know who George Clooney's guy is because he's holding up.
Yeah, but he's good looking. I mean,
He's good looking.
He's
but you
looking
know what?
rarefied.
There's nobody. I'm just beginning to realize when you look at all these papers, there's nobody in that fucking business that doesn't have some sort of tweaking done. Period.
I would say, without a doubt, 100% of the people in Hollywood have something going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you
Well,
know
that's
what?
how they stay
There's
looking
too-
good.
There's too much at stake. They're at the big game. They
Absolutely.
don't want to leave. That's it's the same thing. It's like baseball players do steroids. Those people do Botox.
Well, maybe we got to go visit Dr. Shiner. I think that's what you're saying.
She made a documentary on Mom's Mabley.
Oh, I know. That's great.
And I just said to her, she's on HBO, and I said, "Oh, so you sold it to HBO?" And she goes, "Not really. She started to make it with HBO. They didn't like the direction it was going in. She went and made it on her own, then HBO goes, they heard, hey, we hear the documentary's not bad, and then they bought it. So that's
Wow,
that's
that's even better.
But the other thing is, because we went through this, and I think you'd appreciate this, she said it's really pricey, and I said, where's all the money when you make a documentary? And she said, clearing the photos. And she said that once somebody found out she was involved with the project, they were charging like $50,000 for 4 photos, and she would call them up and she would say, listen, no one's asked you for a Moms Mabley photo for 50 fucking years.
I love Moms Mabley.
But the other thing she said was that Moms Mabley, this is really interesting. She said, not only is she the first female stand-up, she may be the first stand-up comedian ever. She did, and I said, how do you define that? She said, 1929, you know, she got a person alone getting up in a room telling stories and jokes. But she said a lot of Moms Mabley stuff is hard to corroborate because you can't tell what's fact or fiction about her. But I thought we wouldn't get to that, so I thought it was interesting.
I'll lead off with that.
All right. Whoopi Goldberg is here. I got a lot of ground to cover with her. And she is on The View.
Of course she is.
And she's very
There
successful.
she is.
There's Whoopi Goldberg. Wow. Look at that. It's really you. It is the Whoopi Goldberg.
Well, most of me.
Most of you. Where'd you leave the rest of you?
Where are you?
Some of me is still home. But that's all right.
So you get your microphone right in
I
that.
got my...
How are you?
I'm good.
You're wearing your John Varvatos scarf, I see, with the American flag on it.
Yes, I am.
Yes, I have the same one. That's
Do
how
you?
I know that. Yeah, I
See,
love that.
I probably got it from you.
Yeah.
Hey,
What is it, Gary?
I just want to make sure that you can hear her okay.
I can hear Whoopi. Okay. Yeah, you go get your mic right there. How are you?
I'm good, honey.
I'm excited about the project you're here to promote, and not in a false way. I'm very excited about it. I am a huge fan of Moms Mabley.
I heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so was I. Oh, my
Nobody
goodness.
like her.
When I was a little boy, I would watch Moms Mabley like it was a religion.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know Moms Mabley, she was do you think she was the first stand-up comic?
I do believe that she was the first. I know she was
Female.
the first.
No,
she may have been the absolute first.
absolute first?
Yeah. Because
Really?
she's the only one that I know who actually stood up and told jokes from really like the late 20s. So I sort of feel she might be the very first stand-up as we know it.
Yeah.
So it's extraordinary when you think about it.
When was Moms Mabley born?
Late 1800s.
Why did you become so obsessed with Moms Mabley to the point that you wanted to make a project out of it?
Because I used to do her before anybody gave a shit who I was.
I think she was such a brilliant comic because she's a lot of times when she would tell a joke, I didn't even understand what she was saying. And that almost was the beauty of it.
Yeah.
And I know, like, Bill Cosby gets really upset with black comedians when they speak in sort of a street dialect.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I love about black comedians, when they do get up and speak, because that's what I loved about growing up in a black community, when guys would really talk in this raunchy kind of way.
Yeah.
And Moms was just dirty, filthy, and bawdy.
Except she was all of that without saying one bad word.
Right.
It was all innuendo.
Well, did you ever hear her party albums? I mean,
yeah.
All right, those were dirty.
Ish.
Yeah. Right. But,
compared to us.
Right. They were pretty dirty. Yeah. But then she could also go on Merv Griffin.
Absolutely.
And more clean.
Absolutely. Listen, man, she played all these great parts. She played Sing Sing. She played all kinds of prisons. I mean, she was able to go and do stuff. She looked like an old woman.
Right.
You know, and so people were like, yeah, sure, come in and she would just flatten a place.
Right.
You know, and the great thing about the documentary is I was concerned about the material because, you know, today you listen to comics and it's a whole different thing. They tell you everything, the size of everything and every little pimple.
Yeah.
But Moms, you need to follow what she's saying in order to get it. You have to allow the silences of her beats.
You decided you wanted to make a documentary about her life. So how do you go about doing that? You first went to HBO.
First, we went to HBO.
They said, we're going to make a documentary.
We'll make a documentary. And then it got a little tough for them and us because we had two very different ways of looking at things.
What did they want to do?
They wanted to do more of a biopic.
Right.
And for me, there wasn't, you know, the thing about...
You see, I thought that when you first told me you were doing a Moms Mabley project, I thought you were going to play Moms Mabley.
Well, the whole idea originally was I was going to do it on stage.
Right.
As a one-person show. And then I
would
realized...
I would go see that in a second.
Well, I'm still going to do it, but Howard, I realized that, the last time I did Moms was almost 30 years ago in San Francisco.
Did you? Can you do the impression? Is it?
Oh, yeah, Howard, what are you talking about?
Right.
You know I can do Moms, Howard. You know I love your show, don't you?
And she would kind of walk on. Maybe you're right. She wasn't really an old lady, but she would dress like an old lady, and she'd have those like weird shoes,
the big shoes, the
giant
house
shoes.
coat. I mean, she started this character figure 1929, 1930.
Right.
And she was a young woman then.
So Moms was Moms right at 25.
She was a young woman playing an old woman.
Playing an old woman. And when she died in 75, she had grown into Mom.
Right.
And you think about it, there were no roles for black actresses back then unless you were in Gone with the Wind or something. So she created a role for herself as an old woman when you think about it. It was really quite brilliant.
Well, I mean, the thing that I think she figured out was that she had her place and she was going to rock it, and she did.
Do you think the hard part for putting together a documentary is it getting the rights to all of the performances? Do you have that in the documentary?
That was easy. Oh yeah, the getting the rights was easy. It's the pictures and the clips.
And so you have the clips of Moms performing. Do you get the clips of her like on these talk shows?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you do.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
There's some great ones. There's a wonderful. She did in the last year of her life. She did. She was on. I think it's the Billboard Awards or the Grammys or something, and she's there with Chris Christopherson. And he can't believe how lucky he is to be. I mean,
Moms Mabley.
She's funny, and then honey, she takes those teeth out.
Oh my God.
And she says she says, what are you gonna? He said, anything you want to do. She would just. And the other great thing is that the material still works.
Did she have a horrible?
It's still funny.
It's still funny.
Whoopi, did she have a horrible personal life, Moms Mabley? I know nothing of today it's so different. You know everything about everyone. Like I know who you've married, who you've done. I know everything. With Moms Mabley, you didn't know anything.
You didn't know where
it.
she came from.
No.
And in a way, the character worked better because you didn't know anything about her. Did she have a personal life?
She had a very good personal life, and there's some secrets that I'm not going to tell you on air, but I'll
Give me
tell you
one
when
secret.
Let's see. That many of the traumatic stories about her may not be true.
In other words, she might have had a pretty good upbringing.
Yeah.
Wow. And so she embellished?
Well, I think people, and what tends to happen with performers is people embellish for you.
Right.
You almost don't have to do anything.
It's so true.
Yeah. And so suddenly she was, she had been raped twice, and then she had kids, and she gave them away. And so it was this big, giant story that may or may not be true. That's why I didn't want to do a biopic.
Do you get that in your personal life? Like people come up to you who you don't even know and say, Whoopi, do you remember when you did this? And it's absolutely not true.
Yeah.
Happens all the time, right?
All the time.
Yeah. So you go to HBO. You say, I want to make a documentary on Moms Mabley. They're all for it.
They love it.
Then you start doing it, and they thought you were going to be probably playing Moms Mabley.
No. I think they wanted more of her biography. And what I knew and that they didn't was that there wasn't enough there that was provable. There's a lot of rumor. I didn't want to go with that.
So you say, look, I want to get her performances. I want to turn younger people onto Moms Mabley and people who knew her. Like, okay. So then you go out and you have no trouble getting her performances.
No.
But the trouble that you have producing the documentary is getting photographs of her?
And clips. These clips are expensive.
You talk about the clips from talk shows.
Talk shows and, performance shows that she's done. And,
what was the most expensive clip from what show? Do you recall?
I don't recall. Because what happened was, once people realized that I was actually paying for this out of my pocket, they were like, oh, okay, well, we let's talk about this
All
now.
right,
And
let
I
me
was
see if we can
like,
help you. Because you're beloved, and people are like, hey, we don't want...
beliked.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm beloved.
No, you're
beloved.
beloved. And people love you, and they don't want... Like, if they think it's a corporation putting it together on HBO, they'll charge a certain amount. So do you have to go to, like, Merv Griffin's estate and say, please give me these clips?
Yes. But not give me.
Right.
What are you going to charge me? And you know who was the best? Who made it the easiest? Hugh Hefner.
Really?
Yeah. Hugh made it so easy for us because Moms did Playboy After Dark.
I remember that.
That was fantastic.
That was a great show. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So you go to Hugh Hefner and you say, hey, I need this, and he's like, you know what? Hey,
here you go.
Isn't that surprising that he's so generous that
Well,
way?
he's always been really nice to me. I've been really lucky with Hugh. He's always been kind, and so he said.
How do you
"You're
know
doing
him?
what?"
Have you done the Playboy interview a bunch?
Yeah, well, not a bunch. And once or twice I proposed that I would pose for them.
Oh, is that
and they were
right?
like, yeah. And they were like, no, let's just talk.
Would you have done
Come on,
that?
I want to be in the magazine.
Would you have posed? Was that really a concept of yours?
No, look, these I have not worn a bra since year one. The girls are so far on the floor. They would have to back up so much to get them.
Have you ever appeared nude in any production whatsoever?
No.
Never.
No.
You would never do that.
Please, I know what's under here.
You're not looking to show it up.
I don't want to show anybody.
Well, you're so right, because people say, well, how can, you're so outrageous. How come you've never shown your penis in public? I go, because there's hardly one there. I said, if I had something big to show off, I would show it.
Yeah. If the girls were up on my shoulders, sure, I would be popping them out all the time. But that's not what's going on here. I can tie them in the night on my head.
So when you started this Mom's Mabley project, how does it end up on HBO if HBO and you parted ways?
Because they began to understand that what I was trying to do was the better plan.
It is the better plan.
It is the better plan.
Because, I mean, if you think about it, you could have just shown Mom's Mabley on the whole performance of her doing Hugh Hefner's Playboy show.
Right.
But instead, you're taking people around and saying, hey, let me give you an education on Mom's Mabley.
Well, yeah, because what I didn't, I don't know how I missed it, but what I didn't understand was that she had played a huge part in the civil rights movement.
She did?
Yes, because she was talking about all of this stuff in her show.
That's true.
In ways that people didn't realize they were getting schooled.
Right.
But they were getting schooled. And so it was like, oh, my God. So you look at the fabric. She did Abraham, Martin, and John after...
right, I remember. Oh, that's
Martin
right.
Luther King was
She recorded that.
Yeah. And when you hear her sing it, you get it because you realize, yes, these are people that she knew because she did know John Kennedy. She did go to the White House.
Where did
all
she
those
live?
Things. She lived up in New Rochelle.
Oh, she did?
She's from Brevard, North Carolina. That much I know for sure. And she lived in New Rochelle. She worked a lot at the Apollo. She did Carnegie Hall. She played all these places. She was, at one point, the highest paid female entertainer in the world.
You know what I admire about you? You have this passion for Mom's Mabley, and you actually went out and did something about it. Now that I think about it, it kind of inspires me because I do have certain people in my life that have influenced me, and I'm fascinated by them.
Right.
And yet, it never occurred to me to say, hey, that's a passion of mine. Why wouldn't I try to turn people on in some sort of documentary or something like that?
Well, I'm sure Howard, in a way, part of it is because you're in your head saying, well, a lot of people will take care of this because a lot of people know who this is.
Right.
The reason this came about is because what I discovered was, A, nobody knew who Moms was anymore, and nobody knows who any of these comics are. Mantan, Marlin, the folks we grew up knowing
who
about.
were on the party records.
Yeah, and then you got a guy like Red Fox, who was known from Sanford and Son, but I knew him from his party records, and that's what was really a turn on to me.
I mean, and the fact that, we had to do stuff socially. Like, we had to hide. When the parents went out, you waited for them to get...
and you listened to party records.
And you listened to party records. And so did they. They got together and had a social evening listening to records.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? But that doesn't happen anymore.
No.
With Mom's Mabley, though, she was so powerful. And now that you're bringing her up, I'm thinking what her life must have been. Here's this talented woman, great comic, but she's definitely, she was born in the wrong time period because... First of all, who would even imagine that she could even get a career on stage?
Well, because
as a black woman,
we had the Chitlin circuit,
right?
Which was where all the black folks went to perform because they weren't allowed to perform in a lot of the clubs in the rest of the country. So there was a whole area, where black people went and saw performers that they understood and they knew, and it worked for them because Mantan Moreland came from there. Peg Leg Bates came from there. A lot of the folks that most people don't know about. That was the performance space, and that's how they got to be better known. And Tyler Perry reawakened that circuit because no one was making
anything for
that group.
Yeah, what's weird too is that it occurs to me. Everyone's always asking me, who do you think the funniest comics are and stuff, and I never mention Mom's Mabley.
None of us do.
And I should. Like she made me laugh till I almost threw up.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't laugh that hard at anybody. And Mom's Mabley
she was
could do that.
appointment television. When you heard that Mom's Mabley was going to be on a show, you sat there.
Yeah, I mean.
Did anyone ever put her in a movie or anything?
Oh, yeah, she's in 2 films.
Mad World, maybe?
No. I wish.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that have been great?
Yeah, that would have been cool.
But there were no female comics. There were comedians.
Yeah.
But no comics in that movie. No females.
Did you get to meet her family when you made this thing?
No, there's not a lot of folks. Not a lot of folks left.
Wow. Was she married?
It's hard to say.
Wow.
I know
it's a complete mystery.
In a way, it is.
And you identify with her because she was one of your heroes.
Because she was funny, and she told stories. It's like Richard. For me, Richard Pryor that's my brain.
Right.
And Mom's is my brain, because anybody who can tell a story and leave space for a punchline, I think is great.
Right. She's brave in that she could literally take a pause on stage.
That's right.
Yeah. That's a weird. I talked to Jerry Seinfeld about that, about timing and stuff.
Yeah.
People say, what do you mean brave? I mean, when you're in front of a crowd, to take a pause.
That's right.
There's silence.
Yes.
And it scares the shit out of you.
Because we're so used to filling every second of every moment of every day. I mean, my God, we can't even go to the bathroom without the telephone.
I remember when I first saw you, it was like that, the one-woman show. When I see that, you took a lot of pauses like Mom's Mabley did. And I always thought when you got involved with Billy Crystal and Robin Williams, when you guys started to do comic relief and you would appear together, I feel those guys were not in your rhythm. Robin Williams is a kind of tell me if I'm right about this, because I've always wanted to ask you. I always feel Robin Williams is this frantic kind of, he's got his own energy. And I felt Billy would stand there and almost try to be his straight man, like his Carl Reiner, the Mel Brooks. And he would try. And then you would be on the stage, and you work a completely different way. You'll work through an impression and a character and stuff. And then you're sitting there going, like, I'm trying to sort of figure out where I fit in with these two guys. And was it awkward for you ever when you were doing comic relief?
Because the boys didn't let it be awkward for me, but I felt awkward because I didn't know how to do what they did.
Right. That's not your shtick.
It wasn't my thing, but they loved me enough to let me, to carry me along to play.
Yeah.
And so because of them, though, I've learned how to do stand-up.
But were they gracious enough to you? Because they should have let you play in the style that you do. Like, they could have...
Oh, no, they fought a lot for me to do the things I got to do.
Are you still friendly with those guys?
Oh, yeah.
You are? Like, when
I
you
just
say
did a thing.
You do, but aside from the work, because when you guys got on stage, it was exciting. It was like, hey, look at these...
They call, and they say, you all right? Just out of the blue, I'll get a note, or...
Billy will call you, or Robin will call you.
Robin will call and say, I haven't
about
heard anything about it. I haven't heard, is everything... Because, people get nervous if they don't hear anything.
Right, really. What happened?
I'm underground for the most part.
Will you ever get together with them socially? Will you guys ever go out to dinner together? Or...
Yeah.
Oh, you will?
Yeah.
Oh, so you have a close relationship with them.
Yeah. They're like, I mean, this is sounding crazy, but they're like my big brothers.
I can't figure... you have to fill in holes in your life for me, okay? Because I don't understand certain things, how they all came about. Where were you born?
Chelsea, 26th Street and 10th Avenue.
And your name was Karen at that point?
Yes, still is Karen.
Right. Does anyone call you Karen anymore?
Yeah.
Who calls you Karen? Who has that?
My mom calls me Karen until she passed.
She did?
Yeah.
But is that the only person who called you?
No, my brother will call me Karen.
And like Mom's Mabley, there are sketchy parts of your past. I can't find out if they are true or not.
Yes.
Your mom was she a drug addict?
Oh God, no! I was the drug addict.
No, I know that.
Yeah.
But your mom and dad split.
Yeah.
And your dad was one of those dads that never showed up, I get the feeling.
No, he came around when he was in the mood.
I feel like it was, though, a disastrous situation.
Oh, no.
It wasn't?
No. See, this is the thing. People assume...
Well, let's get it straight.
This is the filling in.
Yeah,
this is the filling in for you.
Well, because from what I read about you, that your dad...
can't
go by that.
Can't go by any of that.
Your dad left, I thought.
Right.
And
then
I thought like it was... no dad in the picture.
Well, he wasn't living with us, and you know.
But was there regular visitation? It wasn't like today where you have half the week with your dad and half the week with your mom.
No.
It was your mom raised you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And at 8 years old, you start performing on stage. You started to go and do shows.
When I was 7. We have the Hudson Guild is downtown, and it's a settlement house. And they had a children's program that Helena Rubinstein paid for.
Wow.
And so I was part of the Helena Rubinstein Children's Theater at the Hudson Guild.
And did people recognize you at that theater group as someone as like almost like a prodigy that you were were you a great performer right away?
I probably wasn't, but I liked it. I was a bold performer.
Did you say that I am going to be a great performer one day? Did you say that to yourself? Was that your fantasy growing up?
What I said to my mother was, I want to do this. I like this.
Was your mother the type that would say, "Hey, you're not gonna get to do this.
Oh no!
Look at where you live. Look at who you are. Forget it." No. She was supportive.
My mother said, "Listen, this is what my mother said to me. If you can handle the fact that not everybody's going to like what you do, if you can handle the fact that not everybody's going to understand and therefore not like what you do,
right,
you'll be fine. If you want to follow the crowd and do what everybody does, that's fine too. So you have to make a decision."
Most performers, I think, go into it because they're looking for love.
Right.
And it's almost... you expect it to be magical that everyone will love you.
Yeah,
So your mother's advice was actually brilliant.
Listen, my mom was a Head Start teacher, really smart, crazy smart woman.
Right.
And she knew that she had two very different children because I was also dyslexic. I am dyslexic. And so trying to figure out how to learn things and help me get to where I needed to go. She understood it. And so it never freaked her out, and she did what she did.
Were you a bad student?
I was a bad student if you needed me to read or figure numbers. Very bad.
Have you figured out how to read now? Or
Yes,
is it just painful for you and you just kind of skip it?
Reading is great. I like doing it now that I have it down, but my eyes get so tired now that I started to do audiobooks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a great company called Audible.com.
Yeah, Gary's been telling us that you two are Audible fans together.
I'm telling you, every book that you could possibly want, and especially, I think you need to do some of the books. I think you need to do some of the books.
He needs to be reading books to you?
Absolutely.
Why?
Absolutely.
Why would you want me reading a book?
Because you're fun. You make it fun.
Me reading a book would not be fun. I'd be commenting on the book and you'd get really annoyed with me.
But see, that's what's great about you, Howard. The commentary is half the fun.
That's the fun of it.
And I'm so glad to see you,
well,
Robin.
Thank you. It's good to be here and be able to see you in person.
And I can't wait for your book. I have to read your book because I know you're a vegan now.
Yes.
I've thought about it. It's not going to happen, but I like.
Look, let's get as close as we can.
That's right.
A vegetable,
One vegetable
would be
a day.
okay.
That's right. That's right. That's what I'm saying.
Don't go crazy.
Just add a vegetable.
Do you have not evolved like Robin? You are still eating meat?
I do still eat meat.
I'm surprised.
Why?
Well, because I just see you as maybe
in
somebody
that Hollywood crowd.
Yeah,
it's hard.
At least give up the red meat.
Have you seen my ass? This is not a Hollywood behind, honey.
So let me get back to this, okay?
Sorry.
Because I need to understand your career trajectory.
Okay.
So here you are. You're this talented, lovely kid with this great mother. How do you become a drug addict? Because that seems like you were in a tremendously sad place that you would become a heroin addict.
No, for me, it was the times, and it seemed like a good idea at the time.
Oh, dear.
Everybody looked,
They look cool?
Everybody looked really cool.
Oh,
and,
dear.
And the other thing is,
Who looked cool to you? The rock stars and things who were like...
Oh, no, this is before, this is before the rock stars started doing it. Just, the beginning of the 60s was a whole different groove.
Who turns you on to heroin, though? I mean, I could see smoking some weed. I could see...
We smoked we did everything.
Who's we? Did you have close friends?
Some friends, some close friends. They're all gone. So I don't want to disparage any of them.
What do you mean they're all gone?
They're all dead.
All of your friends are dead?
From that time.
From that time.
Is that true?
The folks that were doing all the stuff I was doing, they saved me, Howard.
How did they save you?
They
By dying,
they were
I guess.
slightly older than me.
Right.
And they just said, this is not for you. This is not the life for you. And we're not going to help you anymore. And you need to stop.
How bad was your habit?
Kind of bad.
I mean, like you were spending money, and you didn't have the money to spend.
No,
You weren't a
didn't
rich
have the-
person.
No, I wasn't rich.
And so
but I could make money happen. It's kind of a skill, you know.
How did you make money happen? You took a lot of shitty jobs?
A lot of shitty jobs.
But you never had to rob or anything like that?
No.
What was the shittiest job you had at that time?
Cleaning toilets.
Oh.
Where did you clean toilets? Subways. And so you
That's
apply.
the worst. Those are the worst
I didn't even know
toilets.
somebody was behind it.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody's like, oh.
Just cause somebody to retch. And you see some pretty horrible things when you do that.
Yeah.
And so you do it, and then all of your money is going toward heroin.
Drugs. Just drugs, acid, whatever was out there.
And you acted out sexually? Were you very loose?
No, I wasn't too loose. I was happy high.
And you got off heroin without any help? You just kind of
I
said
got
that's
help
it?
from the folks that I used to get high with. They stopped. They
But
stopped
withdrawal
everything.
is a bitch.
A little bit of a monster, yeah.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5 days, 8 days, 10 days. You know, but they cleaned me up.
And your big break really came out of doing a one-woman show.
Yes.
Even when you were cleaning toilets and you're doing heroin, and you probably didn't even
Now,
see...
that was all done. That by the time I
All
started
over.
doing all of that.
Where did
that
you
was
get
all
the
done.
guts? How did you develop that one-woman show where you did all those characters?
Because I was living in San Diego trying to get parts.
You would go out on auditions.
And I'd go on auditions, and they'd kind of look at me and go, "Come on, really? You want to be really?" And so I
Well,
wrote
wait a second.
show.
What do you mean, really? Like, what
well,
was it?
because you go in for Juliet.
All right.
And you know
You're not
That was the
Juliet.
really.
not to them
Right.
at that time.
Right.
You know, this is 40, maybe 35 years ago, but I was capable of doing it.
Right.
And so I put together a show. That the original show was put together so people would know I was capable of doing all of these things.
Was the only training you had the Helena Rubinstein? That was it. That program.
it, yeah.
How many years was that program?
Till I left New York.
So you never went to college for acting. You never did any of that.
No.
And you said, "Wait a second. The only way I'm ever going to get an acting job is if I create my own material."
Yeah.
And so you begin to develop characters. And out of that show, who sees you first? Is it Spielberg? Is he the one who sees the show and discovers you?
Someone in San Francisco saw it and wrote to a man called David White, who used to run Dance Theater Workshop downtown.
Right.
And he periodically would do one-person shows, a group of them.
Right.
And so I get this call from a guy in New York saying, "Listen, I'm doing this thing. I hear you do this." And I was like, "Okay. Am I coming to New York?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, cool." He said, "Do you have a place to stay?" I said, "Yeah, I stay with my mom."
Right.
"Where are you guys?" He said, "We're on 17th Street." I was like, "Great. I'm from 26th and 10th. I'll be right over."
And you had no nervousness going up on stage and doing a one-woman show?
No, because I knew the characters.
Right.
I knew them.
And was it frightening to you the first time you do it? And let's say you do take those pauses and you start to do a character and you don't hear the audience responding. Was it seems to me like it was just so natural to you.
It was. That's the only way I could
And you
put it.
wrote the whole thing yourself?
Yeah.
Wow, it's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Well,
if that's the only thing you'd ever done, it would have been amazing.
it would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
And then who knew all this other stuff was coming?
When Spielberg finds out about this one-woman show, does he come down and see it?
No, he got a hold of my manager, Sandy Gallen,
And how?
and said I would like her when she comes to California if she could bring the show, because I'd like to see what she's doing. And so Sandy said, "So Steven Spielberg would like you to go." And I'm thinking, "Oh, I want to be in Raiders of the Lost
Right,
Ark."
you'll be in Star Wars.
I could do that.
I want to get eaten by a shark.
Yeah,
why not?
I could do this. And
Right.
so
I could be in
go.
E.T., right.
Yeah.
Because
you know?
up until then, he'd never done a project like Color Purple before,
Right.
which was a serious, it wasn't an action film.
Right.
And so you mean he said, "Hey, if you ever bring your one-woman show to L.A., tell me and I'll come see it"?
No, I brought it to Amblin, to the studio there.
Wait a second. You're telling me you went to his studio, performed your one-woman show just in front of him?
No, he said it was him and some friends. And when I came out, It was Michael Jackson and Ashford and Simpson and Quincy Jones and.
Oh my God!
Wow, that's kind of where. I was,
What an intimidating crowd!
Yes.
When you go, first of all, when you're going there, then you assume, hey, okay, I'm doing this for Steven Spielberg already as a big time director.
Yeah.
Do you get nervous then to do it?
I'm very nervous because they've also said to me, "Do not do some of the other material."
What do you mean, the more racy material?
No, I had a whole. There was a lot of material that wasn't in
the one-woman show.
The one-woman show.
Yeah.
One of them being Blee T. About the black ET that comes and he lands in Oakland. And they said, do not
under
do
no
this.
circumstances.
No circumstances do this.
Because what? They're afraid they'll offend the great Steven Spielberg.
I think they thought it would be offensive. And
Right.
so now I do my show, do everything I'm supposed to do, and people are saying more.
Right.
And that...
Now you got to get into that other material.
I say, I don't really have much more. I have one thing, but they told me not to do it. But if you want me to do it, and they said, yeah. And I said, okay. And I figured this is the end of my career.
Right.
It started at the beginning of the show, and now it's over.
And they say they want more. You do Black
I do
E.T., Blee T.
And he is on the floor.
He loved it.
He loved it.
And that teaches us a lesson, doesn't it? It's like, you know what, sometimes the more outrageous you are, or when everyone tells you no, sometimes you
That's
should
what
say
you
yes.
absolutely need to do.
Well, sometimes you have to gauge for yourself.
Right.
You know, is this a person who can deal with it? And the answer was yes.
Yeah.
And what an audition. Like, he never asked you to read for him specifically for The
No.
Color Purple.
No.
He never said, hey,
And then he laid that on me.
what did he say?
He said, well, I'm going to be doing The Color Purple. I said, oh, cool. I read the book. My daughter and I, we stopped our bus. We listened to it because Alice Walker was reading it in San Francisco somewhere. And I just said that how great it was going to be that he was doing it. He said, well, I would like you to be in it. And I was like, as what?
Right.
He said, well, I want you to play Celie. I said, I don't think I can do that.
Now, why did you say that?
Because I'd never made a movie. I didn't know anything about making movies. And I said to him, so what does it take, like couple weeks? Because I thought it was like you do, like you would film a play.
This is the exact opposite advice they always give everyone. They always say, if you go in an audition, say you can do anything, and don't. But you do the exact opposite, and it all works.
Well, I didn't want to lie to him.
Right.
I didn't want him to think that I actually knew anything about making movies.
Sandy Gowan was probably ready to kill you because
no, Sandy wasn't there.
He wasn't there.
Sandy wasn't there.
Because so you tell Steven Spielberg, it's very nice of you to offer me this role, but I don't even know anything about making movies. I can't do it, and he insists that you do it.
And he says, well, I know a lot about making movies, and I can help you.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And I was like, okay, but if I'm really bad, he said, I got it covered.
Wow.
Yeah, so
that's amazing.
So now, who's the first person? So you're freaking out, I'm sure.
I'm totally freaking out, but I can't tell anybody.
Well, wait a second. When he says this to you, is Quincy Jones standing there, Michael Jackson, and everyone else?
No, Quincy, I think, was in another room because Quincy was one of the producers as well.
Right.
And so Quincy is aware of what's happening. And
what's Michael Jackson doing during this? He's just sitting and enjoying?
No. We're in the next day.
Okay,
I've already done the performance is done. Everybody.
Did Michael Jackson laugh?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's really funny because we became friends. And that's another person who would call and check.
Wow.
Say how you doing.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Wow, that original crew was pretty incredible. I can't believe it.
Neither could I.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that is the most intimidating situation, and in a way, the perfect test for Steven Spielberg to see what you could handle.
Yeah.
Because you put a room full of people like that together, if you can hold up, you could go on a movie set and do anything.
Yeah.
Was it hard the first day on the set for the movie?
No. What it was it was insane because my mouth was open like this. Oh, we're on radio. You can't tell. Okay, my mouth was hanging open because, I was sitting at a table. And I'm dressed as Celie, and I'm sitting at a table. We're in the juke joint, and the guys are setting everything up, and they put a light in the in the flower thing that was sitting on the table. And I was like, what is that for?
Yeah.
And he was saying, well, that's so we can see your face. What? I was like... That's how you do that. I mean, you know, at one point there are several things that happen. There's a field full of purple flowers. Right. And then there's a field full of corn. And I come in, and the field full of corn is there. And we go and rehearse, and I come out, and half the field is gone. Wow. And I see them putting the purple flowers in. It's like, oh, that's how you do. Because you never, I mean, it never occurred to me that things weren't growing when you see them growing in the movies. Right. And the greatest thing was, it has not, all that I know about movie making has not altered how I see movies. I still believe what I'm seeing in the movies, which I'm really happy about.
Right, yeah, you still
you don't
suspend
see the
all...
inner workings, you see the movies.
You still suspend disbelief and go, wow, it's pretty incredible. Yeah. And it is mind-blowing. So when they send you the script, when you get the part, you can't tell anyone. Why can't you tell anyone?
Because Stephen wasn't ready for folks to have the information that he was doing.
So you don't even tell your mother, you don't tell anyone. You tell your mother, that's it. But anyone else, that's it.
I couldn't tell anybody. So, in the newspapers, I would see, Diana Ross being considered for Seeley. I'd be like,
no.
Wait. And then I'd call and say, listen, I hate to bother you, but I just read this. He said, no, it's just rumor.
That's going to be you.
Okay, it's still you. And so you'd see all of this happening, and then, suddenly they said, okay, we're doing it.
Are you still friendly with Steven Spielberg?
Yeah.
So when he does Abraham Lincoln and the movie, do you send him immediately a note, or do you call him?
No, well, I went to see it.
Right.
Because I just thought it was great. And friends of mine are in it. You know, Esapatha Murkison, who was on Law and Order. She's in it. So, I got friends in it. I love to go see my friends working. So
it's pretty
I go
exciting.
And I said, yeah, it is very exciting, because I can say I know them.
Yeah, it's part of the excitement of being famous and in show business. You know a couple of these people. Yes, it's exciting.
Kind of cool.
Yeah, it is. It's like, who gets to do that?
Yeah.
So when that movie is being made, do you get close to Oprah?
Yeah, we're tight.
Well, it was weird to me that you and Oprah for years fought. Not fought.
No.
But you assumed that Oprah hated you.
Yes, and she assumed that I hated her.
Why? How does that happen?
Again, people say, hey, so-and-so's doing this, and you're not there. And it's like, oh, okay.
In other words, Oprah's having a party and didn't invite you.
And didn't invite you. Or someone would say to Oprah, hey, Whoopi's doing this, and she didn't invite you. And what I discovered, and when she and I finally sat down, because we met up at Tyler Perry's house. Right. And I said, what did I do? She said, no, you. What did I do? Right. I said, you didn't do anything. She said, well, you didn't do it. I said, well, what the hell? 10 years, 11, 15 years almost of not really. And, my mom adored Oprah. Right. We were all very close. And so, she was like, I don't know why I didn't just pick up the phone. And I had to say the same thing. So,
You always seem like the type of person to me who will write someone a note. You've done that to me.
Yeah.
And you will pick up the phone and call people.
And I didn't in this case. And I don't know why, Howard. It's odd.
You were close to Oprah during the making of the thing. You say your mother got friendly with her as well. And you guys really enjoyed one another.
Yeah.
And then when you won the Academy Award, did you think maybe there was hostility there?
Oh, no.
Why would that be, Howard?
I don't know, maybe a jealousy of some
God,
kind?
no, but please, honey, she's she was the queen of everything.
I know.
So she wasn't looking at me.
I know, I just can't believe
She wasn't going, damn, Whoopi got that. No, she was like,
It must have been an incredible experience to go from, you were broke, you were cleaning toilets, you started to do your one-woman show, but that wasn't making any money, right? Real money.
Well, enough money to live on.
To live, but all of a sudden now, you probably weren't paid a lot of money for The Color Purple.
Well,
more money than you had seen. Yeah.
But I'm saying you weren't. Yeah. But when you won the Academy Award,
not for the Color Purple,
for Ghost,
yeah.
which to me,
but we were nominated.
Okay, you were nominated. Yeah. Everything changes, right? After you're in a huge, you start getting scripts and all that other stuff. No.
I'm still Black, Howard.
And that held you back.
I don't think it held me back because I worked all the time, but it wasn't like scripts were coming in.
Yeah.
Because, and you're right. When you're a Black actress,
yes,
it's hard enough white actresses getting a decent role. When you're a Black actress, especially things maybe are getting a little better, not great,
so.
but
then no one says, hey, Whoopi as the lead in Pretty Woman, or Whoopi as the lead in this.
They have to go through all the people first. Everybody has to say no first.
Everybody else in Hollywood has to be busy
no before I can get the part.
Yeah, and it's so true. And it's like a lot of times a role is generic. Anyone could play it, and yet they
don't think
the
that
director
way.
go,
Yeah.
I never thought a black woman in that role. I always.
But it is changing slightly. I mean, we see it on Broadway. This wonderful
people
Felicia's
are taking
daughter
every
doing,
role.
Juliet.
Yeah.
With Orlando Bloom. I mean, it's happening. It's always going to be slow. It just is.
To me, the quintessential role for you as an actress is the role in Ghost. I mean, it makes sense that you won the Academy Award for that. Because, I mean, it is one of that movie holds up, and your performance is unbelievable.
It's the linchpin of the whole movie.
Well, the only reason I got the part was because of
Patrick.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I had a friend of mine come to my house in L.A. and say, I said, what's the matter? She said, girl, I just came from this audition. Every black woman in the world has gone out for it. People got up out the grave to go audition for this thing. And I'm like in my head going, I haven't heard about it.
Where have I been?
Told me.
Right.
So, we have lunch and everything. And so I call my agent, and I say, hey, I just heard about this thing. There's all these women go. They say, oh, he said, I was afraid you were going to hear about this. And I said, why? He said, because they don't want you. And I said, oh. Is
what
it,
I do?
Yeah.
Why are you the only black woman
only
they
black
don't
woman
want?
they didn't want? Because the writer felt that I was too recognizable.
Right. Well, when you think about it, you got into The Color Purple, and Stephen probably loved that you were this sort of unknown.
Yeah.
And wasn't looking for Diana Ross.
No.
And now all of a sudden you're known, and everyone goes, well, we got to get somebody who isn't known.
And so I said, oh, okay. I felt kind of bad, but I was like, okay, because I was on
now
my way.
here's a black role you can't get.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's
crazy.
Always crazy. And so I go down to Alabama because Sissy Spacek and I are making Long Walk Home. And I get a call from my agent who says, hey, you remember that movie that you wanted to audition for? And I said, which one? He said, the one Ghost. I said, oh, yeah. He said, well, they'd like to come and audition you. And I said, what? He said, yeah, they want to come down and see you. I said, what happened? He said, well, they put Patrick
Swayze
in the part. And Patrick's first question was, why isn't Whoopi Goldberg doing this? Does she not want it? Did she not like it? And they said, well, no, we haven't gone to her. And he's like, what are you talking about? She's perfect.
Right.
They said, well, no, the writer feels that it would take people out of the movie. And he says, well, I don't think I'm going to sign on to this until we at least audition her.
Right. Wow.
I never met him.
Right.
And they said, okay, because they really wanted him. And so they came down to Montgomery, Alabama.
Wow.
And Patrick Swayze and I met, and the first thing we did was start laughing. I don't know what it was, but somehow we were connected. I can't explain it. And we just started having fun, and they went back, and a couple of days later I got the offer.
When Patrick Swayze had the kind of juice to do that because he had that huge hit movie already, the one with the baby. Yeah. So he had the
Dirty Dancing.
Dirty Dancing. He had the huge hit movie, so he had the clout to do that and the juice to even say, "Hey, I'm not doing this without Whoopi Goldberg."
At least audition her. And if she's wrong for it, then I'm not going to stick it. But
there are people who come along in your life who give you those kind of breaks, and it's like unbelievable.
Yeah.
Was it? It must without asking, without. Of course, it must have been difficult when he was dying, right? Did you have a last conversation with him?
Yeah, I forget what we were doing. I might have been doing the Whoopi show, and he was kind enough to come and do a part on it. Yeah. And he said, look, I got the time I got. I'm having as much fun as I can have, and I'm going out like I came in, a big baby.
Wow.
I love. He was unlike anybody. He was just a good person.
Yeah.
And so he's the one I thanked when I got my Oscar because he and the casting director who had been bugging the director to at least let me come and audition.
What'd your mom say when you got that Oscar?
Well, it's really strange how she wasn't there.
Why?
Because she did not. She went when I was nominated for Color Purple. She was in the audience. We were there, and we didn't win, but we lost to somebody who you respect.
Who'd you lose to?
Geraldine Fitzgerald.
Oh, Gerald.
Who did Trip to Bountiful?
Uh-huh.
You should have won it.
No. This woman had done such good work for so long, but because she was a New York actress,
she was overlooked.
Never won.
Right.
But she won this time for a really great part, which also Cicely Tyson, this tells you it's a great part. Cicely Tyson won the Tony for it.
Right.
It's a great part.
Right.
And she was great in it. So she won. And it was like, and she grew up in, she didn't grow up in Chelsea, but she lived in Chelsea with Rip Torn.
Right.
So I would see them, in my youth. And so it was like family one. So it was great. But she didn't want to be disappointed in public. My mother was really very private, so she didn't want anyone to see that she would be disappointed if I didn't win.
Well, that's crazy, right?
And so I call her, and she didn't even watch.
She didn't want to jinx it.
So I called her. I said, "Ma," she said, "Hello, Karen." I said, "Were you watching?" She went, "Watching what?" I said, "Ma, come on. The Oscars are on." She said, "No, I wasn't watching." I said, "Well, I won." She said, "Good for you."
Oh, my God. Did she dislike the name Whoopi? I mean, it was you were named Whoopi because you farted a lot.
Yes.
And so didn't she find that, oh, my daughter is Karen, sweet Karen, why is she Whoopi?
No, because she understood me.
Yeah.
She understood me. I've had so many nicknames in my life, Howard, it would just knock you out.
When you were shooting Ghost, did you know it was going to be a blockbuster mega hit?
No, we were all shocked when we saw it.
It seemed like a little film probably when you were shooting it.
It was a little tiny,
Was it awkward for you to kiss? I mean, one of the most romantic screen kisses ever were you and Demi Moore.
Yeah.
You made out, and that's when Patrick Swayze gets to kiss his wife.
Right.
Was it awkward for you? I mean, you're straight as an arrow.
Yeah.
I don't think you've ever been into women, as far as I can tell.
Once or twice, I think.
You mean the full? You mean the full thing with a woman?
No, not the full thing.
How far did you get?
A little far.
Titties? You felt them up?
Maybe.
A little bit. You experimented.
Maybe.
What do you mean maybe?
I don't know.
You forget. You draw a blank.
Time ago. No, not
Was it Barbara Walters that you felt up?
No. But you know how many women I've kissed in the movies? I kissed Suge Avery.
Right.
I had a
that's
giant
right.
kiss
Yeah,
with
Celie
her.
was.
And Celie was gay.
Yeah, right. Right.
And I think there might be maybe two more. I can't remember which ones. But no, I'm straight as hell.
But it was a romantic kiss, nevertheless. It wasn't awkward?
No, because it was, in my head, I was Patrick.
And we all assume that when you make a great movie like with Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore, that you all run off and become great friends afterwards. But that's not the case, right? It's a job, and you do it. And
sometimes you do.
Yeah.
And Patrick and I became friends. I see Demi from time to time, and we're all cool.
It's got to be a great memory, right?
It is a great memory.
Yeah, I mean, it's something. Do you watch that on TV when it airs?
I don't watch any of them.
You don't watch your movies?
No.
Why don't you?
I know how they end.
Right. No, is it because...
No, seriously. I know the end.
Yeah, but I
only want to see stuff I don't know how it's going to turn out.
Yeah, but
you don't want to revisit or remember, no?
No, because it becomes about, that's the day I had the bad period.
Right.
I had cramps. I had
But maybe it's just the opposite. Maybe it's like, wow, that was like some of the best times in my life, and it's almost painful to remember. Like, it was so good. Like, I don't need to
I don't need
revisit
the movie for that. The great memories... I'm lucky enough to still actually have them and celebrate them because I think about them all the time.
When you were so to me, even when you started to do a radio show, or you start even with The View, which is a great gig for you, and it's wonderful. But I still feel like, as an actress, you didn't get to finish your mission. That there were more movie roles you should have done, and I don't know what happened there.
I had to stop.
Why?
I had to stop because I got overwhelmed with the business of it and not the art. I've always been an artist. That's how I always saw myself.
What do you mean? If you did a movie and it tanked, you took it to heart? And
well, I didn't, even if I didn't take it to heart, other people took it to heart for you.
Right.
People love to remind you, hey, you remember that really shitty movie you did?
Oh.
Wow,
Right.
boy, was that bad. It's like,
no.
I know it was bad.
And that affects you.
It did. It began to. And so I had to leave L.A. I felt like I couldn't breathe.
Because everything becomes about the business. Your value becomes, hey, your last movie only made $7 million, and it becomes an embarrassment.
Well, people are embarrassed for you. See, I always think that if people come to see my movie, anybody comes to see my movie, it's a good thing.
It's a miracle, right? Yeah. Someone's watching me.
Yeah.
Right.
But it somehow you had to live up to all these expectations, which I couldn't do. I couldn't.
Well, it's an unfortunate profession because if you're an actor, you've got to act, and there's only so many good roles. So but you can't even predict what's going to be good half the time, right? And so you do it. And if it could just be, if you could throw it off like a mosquito bite, if you could just say, it didn't do well, but I'll go on to my next thing, you'd be fine with that. But the problem is you're too sensitive for it.
Well, Whoopi, did you have the extra added burden of carrying the black race with you?
There was also that.
Yeah, because you were it.
Yeah. And, people would, boy, you're not as funny as Eddie Murphy. You're not as funny. And I'm like, I wasn't trying to be. I'm just this. And why do you look like that? And what's the, why don't you wear a bra? And what's wrong with your hair? And what's up with your face?
Yeah.
And,
it's too much.
Getting it from everybody.
So in other words, what your mother said to you so many years ago, if you want to be an actress, you have to handle not everyone loving you. You couldn't handle it.
No, what I couldn't handle was people picking at me. I don't mind criticizing. I can take the criticism.
Do you have a Twitter account?
I do have Twitter.
There's a lot of negativity on that, too.
There's a lot of negativity.
Does it bother you?
Yeah. I mean, I have now learned that what I need to do is not be on it. As much.
Okay.
But when I have something I want to say, like I've been bitching about this, the idea that guys are working in Washington and getting paid.
Right.
They're getting paid.
You're upset.
I mean, I have friends who are in the military. Their wives, can't go to the PX and get stuff because the PX is closed.
And that's a great forum to get that kind of stuff out.
Yes.
You can't do it on The View. You can't get overly political and stuff. But yet, when you put that out there, someone's going to write back, hey, shut the fuck up, you're an asshole.
Yeah. And I say, yes, I'm the biggest asshole you'll ever meet.
So you
but
engage.
It doesn't change
the fact.
Sometimes, but it doesn't change this fact. Yeah. And this fact is that these guys should not be should not be pulling paycheck while everybody else is on furlough. I just think it's wrong. So I don't mind that.
You once said something so startling to me, and I felt actually sad. You said that of all the men that you've been married 3 times and you've had we all know about your long-term love affair, right? You said that you never loved any of those men, that you only married people so you'd feel normal.
Yes.
What does that mean, feel normal?
Well, I just thought if I could be in a normal place, like do a normal stuff.
Do some time in the jail.
Yeah, doing normal stuff.
Well, it seems like when all of society's hooking up with someone and getting married and living that life, it seems like it's something you should be doing.
Yes.
And again, it almost seems like your self-worth is who you're tied up with.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is why I am very, very happy that I found a couple of years ago that I'm okay without hooking up. If I want to be with somebody, I can go be with them, but I don't have to live with them. I don't have to make their life my life. I can actually have my own life. And I've been with someone, whether it was my kid, since she was, now she's all grown up. She's got 3 kids.
When you had your child, you had a child very young.
No.
Yes.
I was married 18. That's not very young.
That's young.
That's
a
so
kid.
young.
Is that
18?
Seriously?
You're a baby at 18.
Seriously, that's a child.
Yeah, I mean, 18, you hadn't even experienced your life. And did you fall into that pattern? Was your first husband, I know you guys divorced, was he around to help you raise your daughter?
No, because I ended up going to California.
Oh, so you moved away.
So I moved away.
And you were done with him.
Yeah.
And you had to raise your daughter on your own.
Yeah.
And so you never really loved him. You were probably too young to really know what love was.
Well, apparently, listening to y'all, I was way young.
Yeah.
I wasn't in, no, I've...
But you said there was one man you did love.
Yes.
Who did you love?
A nice man.
A guy?
Was he famous? Was he anybody? Oh, okay.
No.
It wasn't Ted Danson?
No.
I figured you loved him.
It's so funny because people, one has so many, well, maybe one doesn't, but I think people have so many relationships that there's never one that stuck out for me that was like the boom, except this one guy. And he had nothing to do with the business. He's just a great cat. But he died.
How old were you when you met the real love of your life?
Probably 30.
You were going out with him. You knew you were in love. It felt different than anything you'd ever experienced before.
It was kind.
Yeah.
It was kind. And it wasn't based on anything except mutual respect and fun.
What
and
did he die from?
He died of AIDS.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was he a drug guy?
No. He had a, what do you call it? A
transfusion?
Transfusion.
Oh, my God. That must have been unbearable. I would think that because it's like, oh, no, not from a hospital, not from a transfusion.
Yeah.
Wow.
But, you know.
How long did that relationship go on for?
About a year and a half.
A year and a half, best year and a half of a romantic relationship.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the best, but it was one of the most solid. It was one of the most solid.
Do you think it would have lasted?
Don't know.
Yeah.
And I
Were you with him when he died?
I was not with him when he died.
You guys had broken up already.
He pushed me away.
Because he couldn't handle that he was
He
dying.
didn't want. Yeah, he didn't want me to say.
I get that. If I was with a woman I loved and stuff, I'd almost be like, I gotta be. You
are with a woman you love.
Yeah,
Aren't you
that's right.
married?
No, I'm saying if I was with a woman I loved and I got seriously ill, I'd be like, you don't want to be. Everyone go away.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You would do that, Howard?
Well, of course, everyone would have to stay with me. But I understand that. But that must have hurt you tremendously.
Yes. I understood. I got it, but I didn't like it.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's when somebody says this is what I need, then you got to go, okay.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow. How sad.
No.
Did you go to his funeral?
No, he did not have a funeral.
What do you mean he didn't have a funeral?
He did not want a funeral.
Wow, this is some guy.
He was pretty great. He was a pretty great guy.
That's macho. No funeral.
He's like, look,
How do you not have a funeral? I mean, you mean it's just somebody puts you in the ground? That's it?
No, you're scattered.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, you just get blown away.
Wow.
It was good. And it should not make anybody sad. This was a guy who lived a great life, the life that he wanted to live, and you know, he was a great man for me, and I had a great time with him, and I have nothing but happy when I think about him.
Were you early on a phone sex operator?
Once, yeah.
Can you make money doing that?
I don't know if you can now.
You would get on with guys. You went to work at a place where you would...
No, you do it from home.
You do it from home?
You did it from home,
yeah. How many calls would you take a day?
In the evening, never in the day. Maybe 40.
Could you make decent bread doing that?
Not really, not really.
And guys would call up, and what? You keep...
And women.
And the trick is to keep them on the line as long as you can.
Yeah.
Women call?
Yeah. You would be oh my goodness, you would be so surprised.
I like when Robin acts like she doesn't call phone sex. So great.
I talked to Whoopi, actually.
See, but you know what it is most of the time you would think that it was really about the sex.
Yeah.
But people are calling because they're lonesome.
And they want a connection.
And they just want a connection.
So you would have to talk dirty to them.
No, you would just have to talk. No,
Howard, if I said, baby, I want to fuck your brains out, what are you going to say to me?
Say that?
No, I'm probably just lost my job. But Whoopi, if I say to you, your job...
If you call and you called the line and that's what you did, yes. But what I'm saying to you is shockingly, 98% of the people that called were not looking for sex.
But wait a second. If I call a phone sex line and I say, hey, baby, you know, I'm there. I'm a guy. I want to jerk off. Hey, baby.
Hey,
what's happening over there?
What's happening over where you are?
What well, I got my penis in my hand.
Wow.
That's pretty pathetic, actually. But you should see it's about an inch. But baby, what are you wearing right now?
What do you think I'm wearing?
I think you're naked right now.
I could be.
Oh, you are a tease. You're a temptress.
Do you think so?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yes.
Now, don't forget to include your credit card in this.
Oh, yes,
transaction. Right. Yeah, you always got to make sure you do that.
Wait a second, baby. Are you the woman from The Color Purple and Ghost? Oh, yeah.
Hello?
Oh, hey.
Oh.
When you must have heard some disgusting things at that job.
I'm trying to think. You know what? I don't think so, actually, because it would stick in my head. What sticks in my head is how sad it was.
I would think the word.
That made me sad.
It did make you sad.
It made me sad.
Is that why you quit?
I quit because it just wasn't working for me.
You've worked at a funeral parlor, too, right?
I worked at a funeral parlor.
Did you handle the dead?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, you made them up, right? You were a makeup
hair
artist.
and makeup.
Is that the freakiest thing ever?
It's not. When you get the young ones, that's what freaks you out.
I mean, kids.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's
God.
the one you don't want. But let's talk about something else.
Oh my God, you're depressing me.
Yeah. I know, I'm depressing myself.
Oh my! Oh, I'll talk about
We
something.
were having such a good time.
So
What
the View.
happened?
So what happened on The View? Jenny McCarthy, I think you're terrific on The View. They say that you're the most popular person on The View, that when you joined The View, the ratings went up 7%, which is a pretty big way to jump.
Right.
I was surprised, but maybe not so much. They got rid of Elizabeth and Joy. Was that heartbreaking to you? Do you feel close to those two?
Yeah, I miss them.
You
I
do.
talk to them, from time to time. I send everybody emails.
Are you brought in on that decision?
No.
At all?
No.
No one says to you, hey, we're going to really... In other words, you've got to go along with it or else you're out. And that's Barbara's call.
I don't know if it's the studio. I don't know whose call it is, but it ain't my call.
I know you always say, "Hey, Barbara gave me the job, and I love Barbara, and I'm thankful for that."
Yeah,
and I know you.
And
were.
we've known each other a long time, she and I.
But when I did the show, the one time, I was sitting there. It looked like you were aggravated with her when she interrupts every minute and takes over. You looked physically pained to me, and I don't know if that's the case, but I tell everyone Whoopi does not like Barbara.
I know you do.
I do because
and they write about it in the news.
Yes, I believe it.
You started.
I
that.
started it, and I admit it. I saw the look of pain on your face.
I was in pain.
What is it, Gary? How dare you interrupt my conversation?
Whoopi's got to be somewhere. She's got to go to work.
That is bullshit.
and she contractually has to be there.
Whoopi control. Oh, that's so impressive that you contractually have to be.
They're going to come get you.
They will come get me.
Throw you in View jail if you're
I
late.
was in pain that day.
I didn't even get to the Hollywood Squares years. I wanted to ask you about that.
Well, then maybe I can come back, Howard.
I feel you did that. I feel you did that for the money because you got $14 million to be.
Who told you, Chow? Who told you that?
I heard you got $14 million to be on Hollywood Squares.
Never.
Raise your right hand and swear on a stack of Bibles.
I have never made $14 million in my life.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Then why was I told that?
For the same reason you tell people that I don't like Barbara. That's
and
so
the same
terrible.
reason we think Moms Mabley was raped twice.
That's right.
That's right. All right, listen. Let me sum up.
The one thing I always wanted to know, because Bill O'Reilly does the show.
Right.
And that's when you look in pain to me.
No, but I didn't even understand that. The View is about hearing people's views.
Right.
I know you don't agree with Bill O'Reilly about what he was talking about. And you got up and you walked off.
Yeah.
That I don't understand because the show is called The View.
Yes,
and
I'll tell you why I got up and walked off. I got up and walked off because what he was saying was a very specific group of people were responsible for something. When it wasn't a specific group of people, it's a faction of that group. And he would not hear anything but what he was saying. And I thought, well, if we can't have a discussion, I'm not going to hang.
You got frustrated.
So I got frustrated and I got up and
it happens on the show. All right, I know. I got to wrap it up. Let me give a proper plug here. So really, the reason Whoopi even showed up, there's no love for us. She loves Moms Mabley.
Which we all do, yeah.
And Moms Mabley is a favorite of mine. I adored this woman. She's one of my favorites growing up. She was terrific on every talk show appearance she did.
Brilliant.
And I would watch talk shows like it was...
Like it was school.
It was school, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't miss Whoopi Goldberg presents Moms Mabley on HBO. I will definitely be watching
Excellent. Maybe you'll come up to the Apollo.
Oh.
Yes. Because we're doing.
You mean actually leave my apartment? I don't think so.
Come on.
What are we going to do at the Apollo?
Well, that's where we're going to premiere it at the Apollo.
Really?
You mean
Okay.
I would be at the premiere?
Yes, I
and
would
I
like
wear
that.
what, a suit?
You would wear whatever the hell you wanted.
I wonder what outfit I'll wear to the premiere.
But I'm inviting you, so
Thank you very much.
Come.
Watch Whoopi on The View weekday mornings at 11 o'clock on ABC. And thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
I'm the only one allowed to call her Karen.
That's your role
all right, Whoopi,
now.
great seeing you. We'll
Good
be
to
back
see you.
right after these words. Did I end on time? Was I all right?
Just on time.
All right, good.
She's just got time to get there.
I didn't get to half of what I want. Let me come around. I didn't get to anything.
Wow.
These times, they go so quickly. Hey!
You should come do the view.
I would love to come do the view.
Do you want to do it?
Sure.
All right, I
sure.
can do that. Hey, baby. You are fantastic. Thank you. And thank you for all the, all the kind words, because I know sometimes you hear about me getting in trouble, and you always come to my defense.
Well, who's going to come to your defense if I don't?
Well,
we know about being in trouble.
I just appreciate it.
I really can't wait to see what you came up with on that.
I can't wait for you to see it. It's so good.
Would it be all right if I ask you a question about the interview?
Sure.
So you and Howard really bonded over your mutual love for Moms Mabley.
Right.
In many ways, is Howard kind of like the Moms Mabley of radio, the way he discusses taboo things and push the envelope?
You know what? I never thought of it that way, but yeah, in many ways. Howard has always tackled things that people shy away from, and he's really bold about it and right up front. So yeah, I think there's a big bond between the two of them.
You do so much interviewing on your show, The View. What do you respect about Howard's style and what he brings as an interviewer?
Well, I like Howard, so I can roll with him. I love what he does. I think his best quality is he asks you a direct question. He doesn't beat around the bush, and I like that.
I was saying to JD, as Whoopi was leaving, I said, Whoopi, I didn't even get to ask you about your spoon collection.
She has a spoon collection.
Whoopi is a big spoon collector. And she lit up. She was like, I do collect spoons. And I said, well, JD does too. And she goes, JD, I'm going to send you some spoons.
He collected spoons when he was a kid. That's why we got into it. And then we found out you were a spoon collector.
Yes. I'll send you something.
Oh,
So
now
JD.
you're into spoon collecting, aren't you?
Isn't that special? I don't want it.
He's not turning down those.
It is special from Whoopi Goldberg. So, I couldn't turn those down. But I don't collect spoons.
You do now.
Well, I have a gift from Whoopi Goldberg.
What I heard was that Whoopi collects these old, like, racist spoons, too. Like the
I
ones...
heard about these racist spoons.
Yeah, like, I don't know where they sold these things, but they sell, like, they have, like, the typical, stereotypical black
like
guy.
Like the jockey kind of things,
yeah. So she's got a whole collection of those. I don't think she's giving those to you, JD.
Because those are historic.
No, because JD will get beaten up for them.
Oh.
Like,
Wait, this isn't my old black Sambo spoon. Stop hitting me.
People might take it the wrong way.
No, remember, you're not supposed to use these spoons, so don't be eating cereal.
No, all the spoons I get sent, I put them in a box in my office.
What happens when Howard Stern's staff asks him the questions they've always wanted answered? It's time to Ask Howard with Rachel Fine.
All right, Howard, are you ready for some fun questions from your staff?
No, but I'll do it anyway.
Thank you. Question from Charlie Hess from Howard TV.
All right.
What is the one superhero power you would most like to have, and what would you do with it?
I think fly would be good. That would be good.
No commuting that way.
I mean, look, I would like to have all of Superman's powers. I think Superman's got the full Monty.
Sure.
Just even like he hardly uses his heat vision, his super cold breath. He doesn't ever even use those,
right.
Especially in these movies and TV shows. It's like, what, did you forget about that?
Sure.
Like, I just go and freeze everybody out. And, it's so great.
But no invisibility. You could sneak around with invisibility, I would think.
Yeah, but fuck invisibility.
Okay.
Superman can run super fast, and like literally you can't see him. That's why he can do everything. He does it all.
Yeah.
To be Superman is every boy's dream.
Gotcha.
I couldn't live in a world with Superman. If there was a Superman and I wasn't him, it would just kill me. Could kill me.
So better no Superman than you're not Superman.
I don't want Superman.
Question from Al Ragon of Howard 100-101.
Right.
In your opinion, if Gary never said the words Baba Booey, what do you think would be his next biggest claim to fame?
I think the pitch. The pitch was a big deal.
Yeah.
The boy can't throw. You know. And what's funny about it is he can't throw, and yet he's a baseball coach, and he prides himself so much on his knowledge of the Mets and baseball and sports, and it's so important to him, and he just can't do it.
Is that a bigger blunder than the I Want You Back tapes?
Oh, there's no bigger blunder than I want you to. Well, there's no bigger blunder than Baba Booey.
Okay.
To say that you collect cartoon cells and your favorite cartoon character growing up is Baba Booey, and I go, Baba Booey? I watch cartoons, and Baba Louie. You know, and you don't know that is a blunder.
Yeah.
The tape that he made for that girlfriend to win her back isn't a blunder. It's just douchey.
I lost my lover, and I lost my best friend. And you lost your lover, and you lost your best friend. Okay, so that part's pretty even. But you gained a lover, and you gained a best friend. I gained a couple of lovers, or I gained one lover. But I gained no friends. There's nobody there to come home to call, and to tell all the great stuff. And like right now, I feel my professional life is like at a 9, and my personal life is at like a 2.
It's ridiculous. It's embarrassing. It runs the full gamut of ridiculousness.
Question from Mike Ganji at Howard TV.
What are your first memories of meeting Fred?
My first memories, again, you know, you're talking a lot of years ago, but my first memories were, you know, here was a guy who was the overnight announcer at WCCC in Hartford on the FM, and I walked in, and it must have been my first show, and he was the overnight guy. He was in college at the time. I remember thinking, how does this guy do it? He does overnights, and then when we were talking, he goes, oh, I go to school during the day, which is crazy, because when do you sleep? And I remember thinking he was good on the air, he had a nice voice and all that. And then in the early days, being bowled over, when I talked to him, we would talk about Saturday Night Live, and then he'd do a lot of the impressions that Dan Aykroyd did, and then he did his own impressions, and I started to really appreciate his talents. But I've said this a million times, the biggest thing about Fred was that he'd actually hang out and watch me and help me. Like he would pull some records, or it was a very nice thing, very altruistic, because radio guys don't always help each other. And there is some jealousies and stuff. And Fred was like a really good friend that I didn't really know him that well, but he would help me. And it was so appreciated because I was so overwhelmed with playing music and trying to be funny and literally grabbing records, grabbing news copy. It was too much for one guy. And Fred would lend a helping hand if he had some time, at least that first hour. And I was so grateful. He was such a good guy that way. And then when he'd kind of lean in and maybe do a voice or something, wow, you know, and you really start to say, wow, this guy's something.
Did you know you'd be with him for the long term?
You know, I didn't know. I thought, wow, this is somebody who could make my show so good. I wish I had a budget or, and I did say to him when I left Hartford, I got this job in Detroit. I am going to try to hook up with you again. And I'm sure he was like, yeah, right. But you know, you saw it in the movie. That was a pretty accurate portrayal. I said, I'm really going to come back. And in Detroit, I would call him once in a while and have him do a voice. He would do Howard Cosell, and at the time, that was a big thing to do, and he did a good job. And you know, Fred's he's so prolific with the lines. It's not enough to do a voice. He's got a comedy mind, a quick comedy mind. Even though I told you he has to think about stuff, but when he's on the air, he's quick, and he's funny. You know, he could do a French accent and do that ridiculous thing and you know, and say brown S 20 times, and I'm still going to laugh.
What color were the children's eyes?
They're beautiful brown S. Beautiful, beautiful brown S. Oh, when you're staring into the little S, you can only think of one thing, how brown they are.
Well, thank you.
Fred has the ability to make me laugh, and so that's why Fred's with me, tremendous talent. So I remember meeting him and just thinking, what a nice guy. And then it blossomed into love.
Thank you so much. That was really, really fantastic.
A lot of fun. There was a lot of inappropriate questions, and everyone is fired. No, that was good. It was a lot of fun to answer the questions. Who knew anybody had any questions?
We have lots.
Yes.
I'm ashamed to say that this.
All right, let's try it. Let's try it.
Yeah. You're up for it?
Yeah, even the discussion between you two guys.
I've just always been offended when you say, "Oh, John and I, what a great night." Oh, Gary, what a great night.
Gary is.
Well, it's like,
it's not saying anything about you.
Yeah, right. Why would you even be involved in that conversation?
Because he spent a weekend on a boat with his kid. He's a great dad.
I've seen Gary with his kids, and I'm telling you, he's a great father. I'm not commenting on you because I've never seen you with your kids.
How come?
Why would you get offended by that?
How come?
I was just saying, I'm throwing me. I'm just
Scott,
as good.
how come if he says I'm a great father, Will's not offended by that?
Because I don't know. Will's a pussy.
No, because it's not about Will. It's about Will.
Will wasn't a dad when that comment was.
He's one now. It's just, but why are you in my business? Seriously, if Howard says I'm a great dad, why are you in that?
You at the time said that I wasn't a good dad because I like to golf.
You started from the beginning. You're like, Gary's not a great dad. Howard says he is, but that doesn't make him a great dad. I'm like,
and then I would go to talk back to you and go like, I'm a good dad, and then you would go, Howard, can you possibly be a good dad if you golf?
I've seen Gary's kids. They're very well adjusted. That's number one.
So am I.
But I'm not talking about you. It's the greatest thing ever.
It is. Yeah.
Go ahead. All right, so they're well adjusted.
All right, let's try it. Let's try it out. The point is we're going to try it.
Okay, good.
He lets his kid have HBO at college. That is not a good dad.
Why?
HBO, video game, big screen television.
How's a big screen television?
I saw that article you wrote.
I actually know the size of my kid's television. I'm sure you don't.
There were 25 different things you gave him. It's like, oh yeah, I gave my kid HBO Go, and he got this. And
Why's that bad?
I don't know what that.
Oh my God!
Jackson went to college. I gave him my Slingbox password, my HBO Go password.
College is for learning, not for watching television.
Please, you got blowjobs from whores in college.
And sold coke. Not whores.
You went to college and you were like you.
I've never been to a whore in my life.
No, you never. You studied. That's all you did at college.
No, I did a lot of that shit. But if I had that television, all that shit that you gave me would be that much worse.
You're digging.
All right.
All right, good.
Wait for the air.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to play a game today. Who knows their kid better, Scott DePace or Gary Dell'Abate?
Oh, you know that Gary's got to win, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think Gary knows Scott DePace's kid better than Scott DePace does. I would have that contest.
Crazy.
You'll lose. Gary's
win.
like the best father I know. He knows everything about his kids. And I know you've been studying all weekend. I got the...
He studied?
Yeah, like he was practicing with his son. And
Look,
Oh,
I
God.
wanted to ask a couple of simple questions. I got those out of the way. I have no idea what you guys are going to ask.
by the way, I'm not saying you're a bad dad. I'm just saying you get silly competitive.
Over anything.
That's a good thing to have.
I know, but it's the
That's a
strangest thing with Scott. I'll be talking to Gary. I go, Gary, you're like the best dad I know. And Scott goes, hey, what about me? I'm a much better dad than Gary. And I go,
and it's not even about him.
I go, I wasn't talking to you.
No, you singled him out on the show.
Right.
And I simply said to Gary, not to you, I
Well,
said, well, I'm a good dad too. To which he commented, no, you're not. You golf too much. So what am I
Now, the
gonna do
rap
with
on you is you'll be with the kids when it's good for you. Gary will be with the kids when it's good for the kids.
Howard, you know whose rap that is? Gary's.
Okay.
It's not the. It's
I bought into it.
It seems reasonable.
Hold on, I'm coming in, Howard.
Is your handshaking getting worse, Scott?
You know what, dude? I'm doing 8 things right here, including I've got these kids over my shoulder. I'm trying to cut.
Are you nervous?
Well, when I'm doing all this stuff, I think it does make my tremors go a little faster than they would. Look,
Are you sure you don't have Parkinson's disease?
it's not Parkinson's.
Wow.
I was tested. It's called. They're called essential tremors, and
Jeez.
that's that.
Does it bother you? Can you type and stuff, or is it?
No, it doesn't.
Boy, it's gotten much worse on him. I'm worried about him.
He says he's had it looked into.
Yeah.
But I want to bring up the point that Scott, for some reason, I don't know if he has it in for me, but Scott always brings me up for anything. So, like, we were in a writers' meeting a couple of weeks ago, and somebody just said, hey, we should bring our pets in to see whose pet is, whose dog is smarter. And Scott just blurts out, I know my dog's smarter than Gary's.
Yeah.
Like, it's always about me.
No, you know what it is, Gary, is I am a competitive person, and you're the only person that gets offended by that. I'm simply fooling around, and you... that's not true.
But Scott, you never say, like, in other words, if Fred says, hey, I think my dog's really smart, you don't say a word. If Jason said, I think my cat's really smart, not a word. As soon as I say something, it's like, oh, I know I'm better than Gary.
Well,
It is. I mean,
let's bring the dogs in and
Howard,
find out.
Ask anybody here.
My dog is certainly better than his
Ask John on the.
I've seen his dog. He pees on the floor.
Doesn't pee on the floor.
Your dog pees on the
No,
floor?
he just made that up.
Well, you said don't pet the dog or he'll pee on the floor.
Oh, submissive peeing.
Well, by the way, we have the boys in here today. Scott DePace's son is here, and so is Gary's son. And Lucas, yeah. And we're gonna find out who the better dad is.
Well, that makes him crazy too, you know.
I know.
Scott.
What happens when Scott loses?
Oh, they're both in there.
When Scott loses, he's going to start complaining that it was fixed or unfair.
No, whoever loses has to record this big long line that they wrote out that said, I, Gary Dell'Abate, think that Scott DePace is the greatest father in the world. He's a much better father than me.
Right.
But I don't know that this show is going to prove that to me.
But I said, don't you?
But if you lose, you have to do that.
That's the.
Well, first of all, I didn't know that was part of the bet.
There's a penalty.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
But Scott, don't you think that knowing your kid is part of being a good dad?
I know my kid. I know him a lot. He's right over my shoulder. Kyle, do I know you? Say,
No, that's Lucas.
Kyle.
That's not Kyle. That's actually Doug Z. Goodstein.
Kyle's behind me right here. Say it, buddy. Come here.
Hey, Kyle.
Do I know you?
Yeah.
We talk a lot?
Yeah.
See?
Kyle looks like a nice kid. Poor kid.
I think Kyle listens a lot.
Kyle listens a lot.
I think Kyle listens
a good listener.
Yeah,
Dad, whatever you say, Dad. Sure, Dad.
Kyle,
okay.
do you ever get a word in, or is your dad always talking? Yeah, you listen. I hear you.
It's like Stockholm Syndrome.
Well, think of all the wisdom that kid
Well,
gets.
I think he knows his dad. Wait a minute. We should change the content.
Lucas, you think you're going to win this, or do you think the DePaces will?
No, I think the Dell'Abates are going to take this one today.
Yeah, your dad.
You're wrong, son. You're wrong.
Hasn't Lucas played Scott in some game on the internet?
Yeah, they played Halo a couple times. That was Jackson. That was
I shot Jackson in the head and the back.
You got him out, huh? You beat him, huh?
Who cares?
I don't know. He does.
It's a game.
I know.
Why are you on the game? You're like a borderline creepy guy. What are you doing on the game with kids?
Kyle, does it bother you that your dad plays video games with young kids?
To play them with him.
You play with him?
Yeah, I'll play with him and like 3 of his friends.
Right.
Kyle, is there ever a time where your dad's on the game and you can't get on?
No, we have 2 Xboxes.
Oh, that's why.
One for Dad and one for Kyle.
There's no problem there. Dad has his own Xbox. Good for you. All right, so what time are we playing that? In the 7 o'clock
7
hour?
o'clock, yeah.
7 o'clock hour, we're finally going to put to rest who is the better dad, Scott DePace or Gary. They'll be there with their boys. We'll ask them questions, and we'll put an end to this ridiculousness. It's crazy. The 2 of them argue and argue and argue.
Today I'm here to prove that I'm a better father. The problem is there is no test to prove who's the better father between Gary and I. So these guys are going to ask a couple of questions to Kyle, my son, and I'm going to hopefully answer it, get them right. But if not, they're going to walk away with Gary's a better dad, and they're absolutely wrong. I'm a great dad, aren't I, boy? Son.
Yeah.
Kyle. That's that. I'm feeling okay, but I don't know what type of questions they're going to ask, and something tells me, not that it's fixed or anything, but Gary probably knows exactly what they're going to ask.
Well, I know I'm supposed to be objective in this whole matter, but I am pro DePace today. I am pulling for Team DePace. And Scott, have you warned Kyle what it's like to see Gary's teeth up close? It can be very, very scary. So,
what's Gary's nickname?
Baba Booey.
Best of luck, DePace family.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm Gary Dell'Abate, and this is my son,
Lucas Dell'Abate.
And we are here today for Who Knows Their Kid Better, because DePace is always telling me he's the better father, he knows his kid better. What do you think, Lucas?
I think we're going to win.
We talk a lot, don't we?
Yeah, we do. We hang out.
Yeah, Gary, you tell a lot of stories about Lucas on the air. You know him well.
We spend a lot of time together. We're in the car a lot together. We're home a lot together, especially now that Jackson is at college. I'd say we spend a lot of time together. We talk. I mean, I don't know. I think whenever I speak to Scott DePace, he seems to only know, sports and gaming. But Lucas and I...
That's true. No, we have a wide
range of stuff that we do together?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're gonna do well.
What would it mean to take down Scott DePace today?
I think the bigger pressure is on me. I think I'm such a favorite that if I lose, I'm supposed to win. It doesn't matter because if we win, it's got to go, well, that doesn't make Gary the better father. It just means he knows these stupid questions. He'll always have an out.
All right, listen, we had to settle this one way or another. Gary and Scott DePace, for some reason, are always arguing with each other.
I would like to say, by the way, I say something and then he argues with me.
Right.
No. A perfect example of how this happened. Gary, you had said Gary was a great dad. I simply said, well, I'm a great dad. He says, no, you're not. Who really threw down the challenge? He did. He said, I'm not a good dad.
Yeah, but I was talking to him. I don't even know why you jump. Like there's 50 guys who work here in the morning, and you're the only guy who jumps in.
Why
there.
would you always say that to him?
I challenge what he just said. I didn't say I'm a better dad than you. I said, why are you involved in mine and Howard's conversation?
No. That's now what's coming out of your head. No, not then.
Kyle, as Scott's son, does your dad argue a lot around the house? Is he always involved in discussions?
He argues with my brother. He doesn't like to watch movies.
Right.
My brother, I'm sorry, my son.
My brother.
Well, that's what you're like a child.
My son doesn't like to watch movies, so we'll argue about what to watch, and he really tries to get over on us, and I'm the hardliner, and my wife is not. So my wife will give in, and I'm always like, no, we're watching the movie, and I put it on, and he has to leave the room.
But give in to what?
Things like last night we were eating and we had chili, right? And there were some chips that I had just opened a bag of tortilla chips. He wanted the lime flavored chips, and I said, "No, I just opened these. That's what we're using." And he got really upset, and I stayed tough, and I said, "No."
Would it kill you to open? Like, if you open both, what would happen?
You're giving in and making a bad kid is what you're doing. See, who's the better dad? Challenge is over. Challenge is over. I win.
But maybe you have to pick your fights. Like maybe it wouldn't have been so horrible to pick lime because he's a human being too, and maybe he wanted lime chips.
But he always does this. So what he did, he started whining, right? He started going, I go, stop the whining. I ridicule him a little bit, right?
You ridicule him a little bit.
That's all the child psychologists say ridicule first, yes.
Because I'm tired of the whining.
Right.
And then my wife, thankfully this time, said, yeah, Derek, no whining, right? And then what did he say to that? He said, well, sometimes it works.
Kyle, blink once if you want to get out of the house permanently, and I'll get you out of there. That's all you got to do. Blink twice if you want to stay.
I gotta say,
he gave me the once. I'm getting him out of there. I'm calling child services.
I would have opened the bag of lime chips. I don't think it's that big a deal.
It's not that big a deal.
Yeah, can't this kid win sometime?
Kyle, what do you think of that argument? I feel your brother's a human being, and if he wanted lime chips, would it have been so horrible to open the lime chips?
He said it hurt his mouth when he chewed them.
Yeah, the chips are chips. Right? So, listen.
But you hear what Kyle's saying? His brother was saying that he doesn't like the other ones.
He doesn't enjoy them.
He doesn't enjoy the ones you enjoy.
They're the same thing practically.
But they're not.
But not to him.
I don't know how I grew up. I mean,
so how you grew up is the best way to grow up?
But listen, opening a bag of chips, you needed permission to do that.
Well, maybe in your house it could be different.
Well, I don't make them.
Do you ever have a chip preference? Do you like some chips better than others?
God, so you're saying that's wrong?
Let me ask you.
You're crazy.
Do you like some chips better than others?
What if your kid wants
I didn't say anything. I'm just asking you. Do you, as a human being, like some chips better than others?
Yeah, I guess I like the regular tortilla chips rather than the lime flavored.
Can you accept that your son might not like the regular chips and might like the lime flavored ones?
I can, but often he is contrarian. And will pick the other one on purpose.
But listen, so let's say...
Wonder where he gets that from.
Not from me.
Let's say he wanted lime chips. And you say, you know what, we're having a nice night. We're all sitting around together. My son prefers lime chips. I'm going to... absolutely, let him have what he prefers. Kyle, would that have been so terrible?
I guarantee...
What?
Get on the phone right now.
No, I'm
a child
Kyle.
psychologist. I guarantee you they'll say, I'm right and you guys are wrong.
Because you made a decision and he has to listen to it?
Do you give in to everything your child
Not
wants?
everything, but that might be a reasonable thing. If my child wanted to jump off a bridge, I might not give in to that.
I think what Robin was saying is if you're going to fight that fight, maybe chips isn't the place to fight it.
And why fight that fight?
Where does it end?
What did the kid learn from that?
He learned that we're in charge and he's not.
Oh, great. So that's how he's supposed to live the rest of his life.
No, until he's 18. He's in my house.
But how is he going to learn to fly on his own if everything is your way? Does he ever?
That's not going to teach independence. No,
You don't think so?
No.
Okay.
Having him go out and rake some leaves,
So in other
that'll
words-
teach him independence.
No, that'll teach him slavery.
Yeah. Kyle.
Lucas, have you ever done yard work?
Yeah, I do it like every now and then with the leaf blower.
With the leaf blower? How about you cut the lawn?
No, we don't. We have people